Let the chaos reign.
And now, a moment back in time. What is the purpose of making black people Christians? With special guest, Kamau Tehuit. This was a broadcast done April the 16th, 2016. This is a classic, so listen good and enjoy.
Blogtalk Radio. The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Good evening, black people. Hold on a second. Tyrone Thompson, you on the line? Wait for my computer buffer. All right. 3393. Who's this? Your mic is open. 3393. Okay, they're probably listening. All right.
Hey Gary, I'm here, man. What's going on?
Okay, good. I
had a phone laid down. I was just letting you do your thing. Is there something wrong?
No. It was sleep because usually I don't really know the 3-point plan. I was gonna have you just go through that quickly again. That's what I was gonna message you.
Oh, if you want me to, I can do that if you want me to. If you got a couple of minutes, I'll go ahead and do that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Yeah, I'll do that right. Welcome to the show. We're going to have Mr. Gary on tonight, but what we want to do is invite you to go to the website at TalkRealSolutions.com, and on TalkRealSolutions.com, there you will find the 3-point plan to black empowerment and financial freedom. The 3-point plan has 3 points. The first point is to get together with like-minded people. The second point is to stop all unnecessary spending and save your money. The third point is, as a unit, invest or save your money in a verified and trusted institution. A great goal would be for you to open a black-owned business. And right up under the 3-point plan, you'll see a link to African American-owned banks and African American-owned credit unions. We could all start moving our money to these institutions to start practicing group economics today. And while you're on the website, that's TalkRealSolutions.com, just peruse around, check out the latest articles. This is where you'll get the news, not coming from the mainstream media. It's coming from, us, and we're displaying the news. So just please check out the articles, check out the links. Check out the store there. Just check out everything. And while you're over there, donate to Talk Real Solutions. And the people who donated, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, the number to call tonight is 602-753-1949. And you got Gary hosting. What is the purpose of making black people Christian with guest Kamau Tehuit? I hope I got his name right.
All right,
there you go.
That's good. All right, thank you. Yes, and this is formerly known as Chaos/Gary. And tonight, we're going to go into this matter and subject. Like I know there's I think more than millions, I think almost 2 billion people on the globe that fall in this religion called Christianity. So me and my guest tonight, Kamau Tehuit, we're going to go into the matters in the mind of what makes a Christian, much less how our people got heavily indoctrinated in Christianity. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest, Kamau Tehuit. The last number 1507. Are you there, Kamau Tehuit? Can you hear me good?
Yes. Jumbo. Thanks for having me on.
That's it. Yes. Because we're in a different, because it's your first time, well, actually not your first time on Blogtalk. but this is a different audience and different atmosphere than you normally would do your dissertation on recent shows, Tehuti. So for the listeners listening tonight, can you tell them a little bit about yourself before we go into the meat of the matter?
Sure. Kamau MakesiTehuti, husband and father, been on this path for a good 20-plus years. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. Where to start? I mean, go all the way back to the beginning? Or San Diego.
Funny thing, Kamau, because when I do this every broadcast, I always, before we go in anything, I always tell people, we always got to go through somewhat of a beginning to find out where we're at and where we're going. And I take a different format with every person, not just myself, but anybody, because some people find and say, it can be long, but at times, like any good story, like how we did back in our culture, we get our message through a story. And through the story, people could relate to this situation. So continue. I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, grew up listening to, conscious hip-hop, PE, KRS, Paris, folks like that. So I had that back and grew up originally in Detroit, so had that black, if you will, upbringing. But my first real taste of face-to-face consciousness actually was I was in the military for a hot minute, and there was a little brother in there who was also, he was in the Nation of Islam. And so, listening to that type of music, of course, it was littered with 5%er stuff and NOI stuff. But this was my first time actually talking with someone face-to-face who was in the organization. And so I never joined, but, he let me read some final calls and message to the black man and stuff like that. And so that was the first foray. So I get out of the military, start going to school, San Diego City College, and right in the cafeteria, I don't know if they was on lunch break or just skipping class or not, but there was like 10, 20 brothers out there philosophizing, and that was my first real critique. That was my first time hearing strong critiques against Christianity. I mean, with books and quoting folks and all that sort of stuff. And so, I'm new to all this outside of music, so I'm just sitting and listening. And, a few folks I start gravitating to, and I start asking them some questions. They lend me books and watching other videos and stuff like that. But where it started for me, as far as me taking a step in this journey, I remember asking myself the question, what was the first religion? And so what I did is I sequestered myself in Chula Vista Library for the whole day. They had to kick me out. But I was determined to try to figure out what was the first religion. And while I did not leave, with the answer to that question, what I did leave with was that Christianity and Islam were the newest religions on the planet. And so then, going back and forth, San Diego, city and stuff like that. And so that's where I get led to Africa, of course. And the first book that really opened my eyes was Nile Valley Contribution Civilization by Tony Browder. And if nothing else, it was great for pictures. And so if anyone who within the sound of my voice, if you're just starting this journey, if you don't have that book, Nile Valley Contribution Civilizations by Anthony Browder, you want to get that book because, like I say, the pictures help solidify the message that we're Africans, our stuff has been stolen, we've been lied to, all that sort of stuff. So while a lot of people get brought into African consciousness through history or political education, other stuff like that, I would say for me, I got brought into it via the religion. Because like I said, I went to the library, I found out Christianity, Islam was new on the planet, and eventually the studies led me to Africa, first human beings on the planet, first spiritual representation, all that sort of stuff. So I got led to the consciousness, like for real, through the religion piece. So much so that the very first lecture that I ever gave at UCSD was dealing with African origins of and stuff like that. And so I'm sitting in front of, a packed house. I'm seeing the words go over their head, but, a few folks came up to me, asked me questions, and shake my hand and stuff like that. And so that was that first foray, somewhere 20 years ago, getting into and understanding Africa, African spirituality, and all that sort of stuff. I meet a friend with me, and I got a mutual friend with another guy, and so he introduces me to the Sankofa Conference. I want to say this is around 1998, 99, something like that, here in D.C. So I come out here to go to this conference, and it's blew me away. And I haven't missed one since because they're the most unapologetic, uncompromising, African-centered conference in the United States. It's, of course, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they end it with a actual, authentic African akom or spiritual ritual experience. And with all the books, that I had read dealing with African spirituality, actually experiencing it, witnessing it, feeling it, all those books didn't prepare me for that. And so that was a mind-opening, mind-blowing experience for me. And like I say, I'm still affiliated with them now. Last week I think was just the 27th annual Sankofa Conference, and I was there and stuff like that. So the religion piece for me, and I'll shut up, let you ask some more questions. The religion piece for me is highly critical and highly important. If for no other reason, no one else has the balls to directly address it the way it needs to be addressed. And if you want me to name names, I will. I'd rather not, but I will. But I have been around ASCAP scholars and big-name folks who don't even want to deal directly with this religion piece as it deals with black folks, because that's where the majority of us are. One brother was like, man, you're trying to get me lynched, talk about Christianity with these black folks, other stuff like that. And so we've got our great historians. Mama Marimba is the cultural scientist, anthropologist. We got the great psychologists. But everyone tiptoes around this religion piece. And so me and Kwesi Ra and a few other folk, crazy folks or just driven folks, have decided we will take up this mantle. Kwesi has been doing it very well with his etymology and cosmology and reviving rituals. I would like to think I'm adding my piece with history, with digging into the books, digging into videos and other stuff, and putting together that information so folks will have the research backing to leave Christianity, and then move from there. But we have to address this head on. If it's okay for Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark to pull our coattails on history and getting that right, and if it's okay for Marimbani to pull our coattails anthropologically and culturally rooted to get our stuff right, if it's okay for Wade Nobles and Kobe Cambone and other folks to pull our coats to get our psychology right, then damn it, if I could cuss, damn it, we need somebody to pull our coats on this religion piece and get us to come back home. And Crazy Kamau, MakesiTehuti, has taken on that challenge. And so, yeah, easily, maybe for about the last 15 years or so, academically and experientially, I've been trying to, set myself up to be one of those go-to people to get the information out.
All right. Excellent. And, you mentioned Marimba Ani, and I remember reading her book, and I bought it, this is probably 5 years ago, and completing it. And one thing I respect about the Queen is that she has used what she have learned from their so-called institutions and flip it on them to put them on the microscope, which allowed well, not a lot, but mostly back in time, because she was born in an era where at times, when they gone through the school and were able to get the doctrines, that they were able to use it to the potential to better our people. And, all praise to her. I hope that she's doing very well right now, because she has put in the work. Only the men and women now have to put forward, because, the elders only could do is just give us guidance. They can't do much of the work because they're not going to be around forever, People got to be clear of that. Right. Yeah. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, that's a long story. In the matters of this subject, hold on a second. Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello? Yeah. The matters of Christianity, most people don't aware of. I wonder how old really is it? Is it like 2,000 years old, or this is something that a lot of people have not really paid attention in regards in this insurgence, how its formation and its creation, and how it's used today to people that never took on it or said that they were not going to follow it.
I think I got it. If you listen to, what's his name? I think his name was Bishop Lightfoot. Some crazy cracker way back in the day tried to come up with the exact date and time that Christianity supposed to have started. I think he came up with some like October 2nd, if you listen to him, it's probably about 6,000 years old. I would probably go between 2 and 6 just to be nice. It is a relatively, if we understand our African reality and we go all the way back to the beginning of Homo sapiens sapien, which is, at least right now, the documents point us to, 500, 600,000 years ago. If you start from there and move up to today, and then you look at where Christianity came in, from either if it's 2,000 or 6,000 years old, compared against 500,000 years, is very, very new. And Islam is even newer than that. But so if I'm answering the question, I'd be nice to them and say between 2,000 and 6,000.
Yeah, and that's pretty fair. And usually we just give them that number because really our existence is, I'm convinced, we are here now and we're going to be here forever as long as we go back and reconnect, you know what I'm saying, and divorce of these Eurocentric, I would say, programs that have embedded in our people for, I would say, maybe a few hundred years at most. But moving on. Now, to most people that are not aware of, what made you or inspired you to write your first title, How to Make-Negro-Christian?
I was blessed and led to have good African-centered teachers at San Diego City and at San Diego State. And so at San Diego State, I was in a class, Samori Livingston, he was teaching there. And he had on a Dr. Clark clip, in the class. It was like, whoa. And while this wasn't the topic of what Dr. Clark was talking about, it caught my ear. He, in passing, made a statement that there was a guy who did a primer on Christianity and religion and giving it to black folks. And when, he said that, I was like, ooh, okay. And so I remember, on my notepad just making a note of it. I think Dr. Clark has said, Charles Jones, Religion Instruction of the Negro. So it's like, okay, cool. So after class, I went to see if it was at the library there, and they was like, no. So I was like, dang, okay. And so I didn't think much of it because I wanted to get the actual document. I was in San Diego, didn't have access to it. When I moved here to D.C., it came back into my head because they got the Library of Congress here. And so one of the first things I did when I got to D.C. was get the researcher's card. And the researcher's card, gives you access to the Library of Congress. And so I did that, and I, went to the back and plugged in the book, and lo and behold, they did have it. And so I got a hold of it, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to, this needs to be put out to a larger group of people, because I started reading through it. I was like, wow, oh, damn. Because in 1831, Charles Colcock Jones, he did a sermon. This started the whole thing. He did a sermon in 1831 called The Religious Instruction of the Negro. So he went from plantation to plantation delivering this particular sermon and then getting feedback from the slave monsters who he was talking to. Then a few years later, he wrote a whole book of that title, The Religious Instruction of the Negro. And all of this, you know, is available online and it's in public domain and everything. And so when the first idea was just to republish the book, because, you know, there are certain, you know, publishing companies, Dover and some other ones, that just, you know, specialize in republishing books. And so I was like, okay, maybe I could do that. And so that was the first idea. And so I'm republishing, going to the copyright office, checking out public domain, making sure everything was up to snuff. And then I was like, you know what, Kamau, I hate reading books that go through 200 problems of the solution and 200 pages of the problem and one paragraph of the solution. And so that made me sort of change up a little bit of how I wanted to do the book. So so then the whole rest of the book, after I do all the reprints, then I try to give some solutions, some other books, some other, you know, videos and stuff. So I'm like, if you agree with everything leading up to this point here, then here's some resources to help you divest yourself of Christianity. So it first just started out from hearing a passing statement from Dr. Clark, and then it went to just reprinting The Religious Instruction of the Negro. And then it went to, let's put some solutions in here as well if folks are now ready to go away, leave Christianity. So what the book entails is reprints. I reprint that actual 1831 sermon, and then I give commentary and analysis. And then, like I say, a few years later, he published a whole book of that same title. So let me finish up that point. So he got feedback from the slave monsters as far as how to give Christianity. He got objections. He got, you know, clarifications. He got questions. Colcock got all of this. So in 1847, the cracker was like, you know what, let me update this. And so he wrote another book called The Suggestions on the Religious Instructions of the Negro, taking into account all of the stuff that he had got from the other slave monsters. And so 1847 is the updated version. And so in my book, I even decided to reprint the majority of that book in there as well. So, and I went the reprint route because I didn't want folks to say, well, Kamau, you're just soundbiting them to death. Or, Kamau, you're just taking that out of context. No, I give you the whole damn documents. While I didn't reprint the whole book of The Religious Instruction of the Negro, I give you the title and the URL in my book if you want to read that whole book. So I was clear. I want you all, our African brothers and sisters, to have his words so y'all can read what this cracker devised to give us Christianity. Then I ended with, like I say, other books, other streams of thought, other videos and stuff for folks that are ready to leave Christianity all the way. And so that's how the book came about.
You know, it's too bad I don't got that URL because I only went through halfway of your book, and I still probably have 50 or 6 more pages left. But reading through it, and to tell you, I tell people many times, it is very much in depth. To tell you. Because this is the mind of some of these Peckerwoods in regards how they want to control people. Mm-hmm. You know, even going from Colcock Jones, he sit there and he had to sit there. It's like a try and error till you get it right. The way
right,
the method
exactly.
And people must understand these people still conduct experiments on our people today, which to help with social media nowadays. Because make it easy now, kind of know what is on your mind now. Because it's always an experiment, because they got to know what our people thinking. Just like the slaves that were under Colcock Jones. and helping him to further the program. I think one time there was one quote that you might mention, and I think I come across the same quote, where one of the slaves said, use the gospel to hold him, sir. And he did, because a slave knows what another melanated man or woman thinking once they hear a certain message. You know?
Right.
It is.
And it's interesting that you brought that up, because putting this information together, Colcock changed his position on that. Because there's a big, huge book that's a biography of him called Children of the Corn. It's on the whole, Colcock the Jones family. And so I was reading through some of that. And Colcock, and let me be clear, a point of clarification for everyone. This family seemed to like the name Charles Colcock Jones. So if you listening to this and you want to do your own research, the Charles Colcock Jones I'm talking about is the son from 1804 to 1863. His father had the same name. He named his son damn near the same name. The grandfather had a similar name. So if you want to dig into what we're talking about, you need to crack it from 1804 to 1863. Okay, so get that. So he started out, he did not want enslaved Africans to give themselves the gospel. He started off really feeling that a white person was the only person who was properly trained and knowledgeable enough to give black folks Christianity. And I'm looking for that quote now, actually. But, yeah, there was, you reminded me of a coon, even back then, who, of course, now I can't immediately find it, but because I wanted to read
page 67. It should be page 67, I believe. Might be wrong. 67. Might be page 67. Might be. I highlight some of the things, so yeah. But yeah, and mind you, we had coons back then, and even though, but really, it's not during A-time. This is like further in, because when some of our people rebel from oppression and the beating and the lashings and the torture and rape, there is resistance, and a lot of people exempted and fought. But there's always those same niggas go around and try to get in more beds with the master and favor just by selling out most of our people back in the time for less, But, it's a plain thing. It's unfortunate, yeah. I mean, sometimes we think said that one of these days we're going to be able to control these coons and that we don't have no more coons. I mean, it's going to take a long process. I tell you, man, because these people are being manufactured daily, maybe weekly, and it's hard to cut off the coon factory. You know what I'm saying? You have to probably get after them and the oppressor altogether just to destroy that. I mean, that's my opinion. I'm not sure we found the piece yet. While you find it, I'm going to give the call number. Tonight's call number is 602-753-1949. I repeat, 602-753-1949. The title of tonight's subject, what is the purpose of making black people Christians? With my guest, Kamau MakesiTehuti. All right.
Gary, can I get a comment in there?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Tehuti? My name is Tyrone Thompson. I host here also. Welcome to the show, man. I heard you in your introduction and your frustration. You got the same frustration that I have when I started down this path also about Christianity and religion. I heard you saying, where's the people out here speaking against this stuff? And I'm going to raise my hand and say that I am one of the trendsetters, too, out here speaking against this religion. So it's great to meet you on that front right there. And
yes,
I guess my
spirit, excellent.
yeah. I guess my question to you is all the information that all the people that you named before us that came, I mean, all that stuff is great, and the stuff that you guys are talking about is great. But I'm more of the mindset of confronting this thing head on face-to-face by, you know, in 2016, because we are getting oppressed and we are dying. I think that it's more urgent now than ever that we lay this thing down. So I pretty much just tell people like it is, you know, about God being fake, Jesus being fake, using some references that you're using, the letters that you're using to prove my point and all that kind of stuff. I think that we need to wake up now. And my frustration is that I've seen that we soft shoe this thing for a long time, you know, because it's religion, because it's so sensitive. People don't want to say what is real, and what's real is grown men can't walk on water, and people can't live in fishes. You know what I'm saying? So as we live in this society in 2016, we just need to go ahead and say what it is. You know, it's a fairy tale. We got our community subscribing to hoaxes and spells and ancient pathologies, and I think that's one of the problems that we have. So I'm out here with you in this fight with you, brother, so I just want to let you know that.
Whew, thank you. We need all the help we can get out here. Because, yeah, like you say, tiptoeing around it. I have a good brother, and I feel bad about this. I still haven't responded back to him because it's a deep question. It's a good question, and since he's a friend of mine, I don't want to come off wrong. But he basically asked me to say, he was like, man, you know, we do this history, and you come this hard with the religion, but, you know, there are real good-hearted people that's in this movement, too, who just happen to be Christians, and are we supposed to kick them out of the movement because they coming from a different religious background? You know what Baba Omawali said, lead a religion in the closet and all this sort of stuff. So can we really be dividing our people now when we need to be bringing them together? And part of my answer, if he wasn't a friend of mine, would have been like, why do we have to pussyfoot around religion, but we come hard with, oh, you were cool if you think the Egyptians were white, and you are house Negro if you don't know about Imhotep. You know, we come hard on all that other stuff, but when we try to say, to be nice, Jesus was black, to just come all the way with it, we don't need Jesus, come back home to our real African spirituality, you can't do that, and it's so sensitive, and it's personal. It's your personal relationship with God, and that's a whole other psychological piece. On the continent, pre-invasion, you don't hear folks talking about, I have a personal relationship with that. That's some new fangled stuff. What's the African proverb? You want to speak to God, speak to the wind. It wasn't a personal, my own personal interpretation of relationship. No, it was the creator is the creator is the creator, and you've got your personal orishas or abasun that's guiding your head, and you've got your personal ancestors within your blood lineage who are looking out after you, But this personal relationship with God, and God is my husband, and Jesus is my man, Jesus is my boyfriend, that's some newfangled BS stuff that we did not bring with us on the ride over here. And we need to
I agree with you, brother, and I understand how sensitive it is to our people, but this is the way I kind of ease my mind. I say, okay, well, if you're an elder and you grew up subscribing to this stuff and you still stuck in that idea, there's nothing I can say to you. But if you're my age and below, since I figured this out, your damn ass need to wake up too. And I just got to be that forward. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just the way I look at it. You know, I'm sorry to hurt people's feelings, but the truth is the truth. We've been walking around here not saying the truth forever, and look at what we do now. We fight all the time. Our men don't be with our women. Our relationships are jacked up. We're going to jail, and other things contribute to that. But I'm saying that if we was in our right mind and not subscribing to all these fairy tales, maybe we would think a little bit differently, you know?
And so I did finally find the quote.
Okay, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Actually, it's on page 109, where I talk about the second point to make on this evil genius is that back in 1831, during his infamous sermon, he was against Negro preachers. Quote, we have colored ministers and exhorters, and while their ministrations are infrequent and conducted in great weakness, there are some of those whose moral character is justly suspect and who may be considered blind leaders of the blind. And so now that's Cole Cox's original viewpoint on black folks teaching of the black folks the gospel, and that's also off the heels of Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, and Gabriel Prosser. The Nat Turner thing really scared him. Really, really scared him. So then I asked on 109, what changed his mind? Who really knows? As late as 1842, he held the same position when you examine the whole book, Religious Instruction of the Negro, especially pages 210 to 215. One possible hint at the upcoming change may possibly have been a statement from an unnamed, quote-unquote, venerable colored preacher who, in the strongest self-hating language imaginable, allegedly told Dr. Jones, and I quote, "Sir, it is the gospel that we, ignorant and wicked people, need. If you will give us the gospel, it will do more for the obedience of servants and the peace of the community than all your guards and guns and bayonets." And so I'm glad, Chaos, you brought that up, because I don't want to spoil the entire show, but to answer the question, what's the purpose of giving us Christianity, it's that right there. Subordination. Acquiescence. That's the entire reason. I have a long quote in here from Baba Amos Wilson, where he juxtaposes how Christianity serves white people and how it disserves black folks. And he goes down a long list of stuff. And, you know, that might be too long to read here, but acquiescence and subordination. And to tie in with what Brother Tom is saying, to tie all this together, we are still getting shot dead in the streets by these racist pig cops. Damn near every person, every surviving black person has used the word forgiveness. Every time something about to happen when somebody else got shot, whether it's Ferguson, Baltimore, wherever, who do they go to? Who do the crackers go to first to get the peace? The damn preachers. And they haven't stopped doing that. And so if Cole Cox's message in the 1800s was, if we can give these niggas Christianities, we crackers will have peace in our slaveocracy, if that was the message in 1831, it hasn't changed one bit, y'all, in 2016 Gregorian calendar, because Caucasoids still call on the preachers first to calm us down, still call on the pastors first to calm us down, and us being indoctrinated in it, even when it's obvious. Tamir Rice, oh my God, rest in peace. When it's obvious, it's blatant racism. We don't want to burn stuff down. Even the one brother who came out that day afterwards, burn the shit down. They got to him, and the day after it had to come out, okay, I didn't mean to come out that strong, just, you know, don't burn nothing down, be nice. That was the only person I'd ever heard say anything outside of, oh, let's forgive him. The cracker who shot up the church, oh, let's forgive him. The mentality, the psychology has not changed one bit. And so that's why I go in the way I go in, because it hasn't changed.
And the funny thing, not only the psychology, but the mentality has not changed. And our people have not seen this. That one thing we must understand about the Europeans, or like we would like to call the Archie White folk, that they're consistent. And not only consistent, but they find other ways to further their plans, you know, to more control and kill enough of us. Remember, it's like a sport. It's fun to them. You know what I'm saying? And people understand when they say we are children, we got to look at the microscope. These are real children, because only children do childish things. And their behavior is far beyond childish. You know? There are times they say they will maim, kill, and do whatever, you know what I'm saying, for a form of control. And one thing, even going with that, I read a piece, and I remember reading the same elder that passed away back in, I think it was 1950 something, Carnegie Wilson. He did mention about this same brother too, and ironically, because he came, and I'm not sure it was this, because Carnegie Wilson brought this man to the light in his book, The Miseducation of a Negro. Because I remember Johnny Clark during the time, because he was born in 1915. That book was written in 1932. So it tells you how far much most of our scholars read into enough of our own scholars' works and did deep research to find some of the prerequisites. But Kamara, he was, if I remember, because he was born in 1800s, late 1800s, was once a former slave, depending on which region he was born at. You know what I'm saying? So he experienced not only race, but the way that these crackers behaved back then, even still behave now. You know? And then he eventually came to his understanding, you know, not with the help with Marcus coming to this country, but at times he now sees that nothing to what he learned is going to really liberate. Not only about us, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel why he wrote the book. Because he said you have to get for your mind, because Christianity is a mind programming shit. It's meant to keep you dumb, stupid, and keep you in control. Because you don't think once you're in this conference under the auspices of Christian, any religion, Christianity, Islam, anything. Because you now, one thing you don't question. Every little thing. Let's just read it. I bet you right now, I could deal with any so-called Christian right now. I pull up any verse right now. Either Milton or not. And I'll tell you one thing, they probably won't recall what it is. But they say you fall in a religion, but you don't understand what the fuck you're reading. You know what I'm saying? This is the same book that was shoved in your throat. You know? One elder told me this, right? And I took his word seriously, because I don't really read the Bible like that. But I understand how much in depth that people sit there and like to hear the same message and controlled by the same sermon as the preacher. Remember, it's the preacher that keep this shit going. Because black people, on the average, come on, just don't fucking read. Since the 40s, the literacy rate of our people in this country went down. That's a span of 7 years. So obviously, because we have things now available information, we're not going to still fucking read it. Because it takes, like it was what said, what black people, it's like we got to constantly have headaches. We got to put our head down the books. Anytime just read a page will bother us. You know what I'm saying? But the information is out there. But people will not look into it. And that is a frustration. Not only me, but anybody that's trying to let people say, this shit, you need to let go. Because this thing is controlling you. You know what I'm saying? It make you do things that you don't imagine. I think one time there was articles right now on Facebook of one black woman, I'm not sure if this is in America or in the continent, how the pastor's letting them use his phallus to have the woman to come to, you heard about that, to suck him off, and his thing contains holy milk. And they do it. You know what I'm saying? Some of them. But the point is, there's a new scam out now. I'm sure you've seen it. A preacher said he went to heaven, and he came back, and he took pictures, and he came back, and if you want the pictures, he's charging $5,000 a piece. Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
And like you say, these fools are believing.
Oh, God, man. Oh, gosh. This is super I can't, Oh, one more thing before we continue. I'm going to open the lines in the next 5 minutes. So bear with me, black people. I know people are waiting. Yeah, moving on. Continue.
Okay, good. Since you said that, let me throw in this disclaimer, because in doing this talk and other things, it seems like folks assume some things, and so when I did a different but related lecture at ASCAC, I did this disclaimer, and this is just a shortened version of it, but any caller on the line or anybody that's in the chat room, let me say, I've been doing this for 20 years, so yes, I have read David Walker's Appeal. Yes, I have read Dr. Ben's African Origins of Major and Western Religions. Yes, I do know back in the day, churches were used and were used for possibly, liberation efforts, other stuff like that. I know about Vernon Johns, who was the down preacher before MLK, who they didn't want, So I know about, and I'm pretty well versed in liberation theology of Cleage and Cone, which in my opinion, I think now it's a moribund idea and we need to scrap it. But I'm just saying this disclaimer to say, and this ties in with what you just said, Chaos, by doing this for 20 years, my first lecture was dealing with African origins of. But since I kept reading and kept experiencing African spirituality, I now see that African origins of is no longer a valid premise. It needs to be scrapped. We can't just blacken it up. We can't just put Ndinka symbols on it. We can't just lie and try to say Jesus is an Orishan or an Abasun or a Loa or none of that crap. We can thrive and survive without Christianity. Yes, I do know about the Coptic Church. Yes, I do know about Nubian Christianity. Yes, I do know about that. And if anyone asks, I take a different spin on that than most people, looking at the history of it. And so if that question comes up, I'm prepared to do that, because that's where my new research is going. The new book, Spiritual Warfare, is I might have to go into hiding with that one because everybody gonna hate me on that. But so I'm just putting all these disclaimers out so folks know that I have a history in studying this and looking at this, and I kept reading and I kept experiencing, so I didn't get stuck in, it's all ours anyway, African origins of. No, that is a moribund, dead position, and Kamau Tehuit has moved to the point so we will never truly be free until we return to our real African spirituality.
Oh, damn, I know.
Well, I'm glad you added that part in there. I really am, because look, Tehuit, to be honest with you, what I noticed, and I'm an amateur psychologist. What I noticed is that we're laying down the dogma of religion and Jesus Christ and all this kind of stuff, trying to whitewash it, and also we're picking up other dogmatic ways of thinking, and that's just not healthy either. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
But Gary, you got people on the line, man.
Wait. I have something to say. It's a good thing you brought up that point, because a lot of people still find some way, if they put this down, that they're going to try to reinvent the wheel and try to hold certain things. And I think they say, once you put it down permanently, because this is the thing that keeps us to what we're supposed to be doing and how to get ourselves, not only physically, but mentally, because everything works on the mental first. The attack and bite is last. People got to understand, when they send missionaries, they sent, before they went to any country or any land, they don't go in there full force militarily, because then they'll get slaughtered. Even now, they'll still get slaughtered. Just like what he said with Timmy Rice thing. The guy told him, said, we want to burn this place down. They're not ready for that still. Because if they're really ready for that, there wasn't nothing no man or woman was said. If his mother came up today and said, I want that, his head off, you know what that people going to do? Next day, they're going to react. So, in essence, they send the missionaries first to introduce this thing to indigenous people, particularly our people in general. And then once they get the few that soften up, then they go militarily. And people follow the history properly. Because I know that's how that shit works. Because anybody can have a weapon and kill you. But the point is, what I'm saying, if I go out and kill you, you're going to resist. And it makes it hard to take you out. But when you're docile and you follow the game, I can easily neutralize you. Just like a story one time of a brother. I don't want to laugh at it because it's kind of fucked up. This man had a gun or a shotgun on. And he looked at this dude because it looked like he was ready to take his head off. It was another black man. Two black men particularly. And then he up there flowing at him. And then he said, yo, but before you do, what would Jesus would do? The man dropped the gun. And when he dropped the gun, the guy pulled his feet and lit him up. Tells you the mind of how this thing is real deep. He blew him up because the guy said, what would Jesus do? And that man, he disarmed himself. And I look at our situation. All these people, particularly these peckwars or, any media, all they got is throw a little Jesus there and there, and then people just go back to sleep. So this is much more dangerous weapon than people must think. And I'm not bashful, but we have to tell the reality. This thing keeps us very much in our demise. And I only could see, future-wise, the youngsters that will come out of this bullshit this rebel, this mind control of religions to get ourselves out of it. But hold on. All right. So like I promised people before, I will be opening the mic for questioning answers right now. So if you have any questions or comment, you may make it now and speak your piece. Oh, let me get the number one more time. It's 602-753-1949. I repeat, 602-753-1949. The first mic will be open. Last area code is 4013. Your mic is open.
Hey, how you doing, Gary?
Yeah.
This is Howard.
Okay, how you doing?
I have a question. I'm good. I have a question for your guest. I actually want to say everything he's been saying, or most of the things he's been saying, are 100% on point. But I have a question. From my research, I've come to find that the origin of Christianity is from Assyria. Now, if that's true, would you consider Christianity an African origin religion, brother?
I hate to do this, but let me ask a question with a question. What led you to Assyria as? How did that come about? Assyria
well, in the Bible, in the Bible, it says that, Assyria, Paul, I guess, the big guy that was spreading around according to that book, and he said that, and I forget which chapter and verses because I don't really subscribe to that, but it says in that book that Assyria was the first place that they became to be called Christians. And then doing a little surface research, I found that Assyria was the first place to have the Christians, and then it filtered down from there and spread south that way. But if you have other information, I'd be, I'd accept it all. I'm just, asking, and if you can straighten it out, that'd be great.
Okay, let's see. So that is interesting. I hadn't heard that particular angle before. So I'll even have to do some digging to see where that came from. African spirituality, or for something to be an African religion, this isn't an exhaustive list, but it has to have an understanding of the ancestors with it. It has to have, within the experiential piece of African spirituality, deities come down and join with human beings. They get into your body. And so, and there's a certain way that you demark someone who has been joined by a deity or by an ancestor in an African ritual experience. And so I don't know of any other spiritual system on the planet, whether it be Native American, whether it be, the deep backwood Chinese stuff or nothing, or even in India, where the deities actually join within the body, take over the body, if you will, and congregate with the people. And so that is a huge, major aspect of real African spirituality. And Christianity, in no way, shape, or form does it have that aspect. While the circle dance, let me go here. In dealing with what I just mentioned as far as the deities coming down, you create a sacred space, you create a sacred circle, and there are certain drum rhythms that you do to call down certain deities, but the people who are there can go into the circle and dance in the circle, and you say your prayers or things like that. While there is the aspect of, I call it joining, other folks would call it possession. where certain folks may talk and you not knowing what's being said. Within the African context, you always will have folks who are, sorry about that, you always have folks who are trained who will know what is being said and who can translate. Now, how that has gotten sort of jarbled up within Christianity is that whole Holy Ghost experience and folks speaking in tongues. And I don't have the books in front of me, but I have heard some folks say that when they're not just straight up making it up, because I did used to do the church thing for 3 years and I left it alone. But during that time, one thing was real interesting. I was going to a friend of mine's church, and she was practicing her speaking in tongues. I had never seen nothing like that before in my life, so that was funny. But one close approximation would be the speaking in tongues with with Christianity and being joined and a foreign language being spoken within the African spiritual system. But where the difference come in at is within Christianity, don't nobody know what's being said. The person just jumps around until the quote-unquote Holy Spirit leaves them, and then that's it. Within an African experience, you have a helper, for lack of a better term, who will walk around with the person who has been joined with a deity. You will have maybe another person who is the linguist who will know what's being said, and sometimes they'll even have a book, and they'll write down what's being said, and if it needs to be shared with everyone afterwards, they'll do that. And so I'm probably going on too much more of a tangent, but what I'm trying to do with your question is I'm trying to lay out things that happen within an African spiritual experience and in some ways juxtapose those with what happens in a Christian experience, so then it will be a bit clearer. So the answer to your question is no. Christianity never had a real African spiritual base to it when you experience what African spirituality is. They don't have the shrines. They don't. I mean, they approximate a lot of stuff, but it's not the same thing.
I understand that. Reason,
Howard,
can I ask one more question, Gary?
No. I got to take the next call. Just, I'm not going to be line. Just step back, and I'm just going to open next line. The next line, open up. All right. 3887. Your line is open now. 8-7. Are you not ready? All one.
Hey, Gary, just use the zip code, the area code, man. I usually use the area codes. I don't really give out the last four of the phone number or whatever, you know.
Okay. All right. All ones, your mic is open.
But they didn't push one, though.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Howard, you can ask your next question until somebody raises their hand up. Go ahead. Howard? I guess he must have. Yeah.
Gary?
Yeah.
Oh,
Howard,
I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say the reason that I was saying that it would be considered African is I like what he said, but I was thinking more of territorial. At that time, Assyria and all that around there would have been considered Africa, correct? And if that's correct, then that's where I was going with that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with Assyrians invading with the Persians and the Romans and the other stuff. There were quite a few Assyrian invasions. But I can't recall Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark just to use them to say that they were a fellow African. You know, like they will say that Ethiopia around, like the 20th to 25th dynasty, I have heard Dr. Clark say they would go, up south and smack their brothers on the butt up in Kemet to get the stuff back right. So I see
that's what I heard too, that they kind of ruled that, for a time period, that those people are kind of mixed people today, right?
Right. I mean, I see that relationship with Nubia and Kemet, but I don't recall hearing that same relationship with Assyria and Kemet. I always heard that there was an antagonistic relationship between those two nations.
Okay, but I guess I was just basing my question on that. If the term Africa, that isn't a term that was used back then, but I kind of try to place it on there to say all of that could have been considered African in quotations back then. And if those people, and I put the quotations around if also, if those people came up with that concept of Christianity, then that's where I was going with the question, could you consider that to be in African religion? That's where I was going with it. But I agree with everything you're saying. And if you could point me in a better direction, and I'm cool with that also,
Well, let me point you in a better direction. Every bit of it's fake. Every damn bit of it. Don't matter if it's the origin over there in Africa, the moon or whatever. It's all fake. That's what we need to know in 2016, I believe.
I think we already know that. Well, I can't speak.
We don't. The majority of us believe in this fake God.
Right.
Yeah, with how Chaos laid it out, to point you in a good direction as far as folks who are just saying it like it should be said, I would say Ojirafo.com, ODWIRAFO.com, and Everin, he knows that brother too. His research is just phenomenal. I would say get a hold of something called the Cuckoo Toon Toon. Yeah. And this brother has laid out on video, in book form, in DVD form, where all of these so-called biblical people, personages, come from and how they were stolen fragments from our stuff. And he uses etymology better than anyone that I've come across to be able to do that. And he comes, forcefully and other stuff like that. So that would be one area, because I would, of course, point you to spiritual warfare, but I'm not finished with that. It's going to take at least another year and a half to get that book out. So I'll point you to ODWIRAFO.com and get some of that brother's stuff.
Okay.
Hey, when you say
hold on. All right. Before I open all one, let people know. What he's referring to, Ojeva, is Kwesi Ra, never Akan. I'll probably get in contact with him soon for some further, and he'll explain more of his works. So hang tight, people. Once your mic is now open. You have a question? Yes. How you doing, man?
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
All right. No, brother. I'm actually listening in. I just tuned in, so I'll just be quiet and listen to the conversation and add on if anything.
Okay. Yeah.
If I could jump in real quick before you bring in another caller.
Bring in that caller? All right, hold on.
No, I said if I could jump in real quick and say something.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The other caller raised an interesting point. He used the word territory. And I have come across a few books that I'm not going to mention because these books need no play from us whatsoever. But they have tried to make the argument that Christianity is African because a lot of, in its formation, a lot of its beginning happened on African soil. And I would say that's a dangerous premise to take, and the Caucasoid who wrote the book is just totally wrong, and other folks who have attempted to make that is utterly wrong, because at the time we're talking about, Africa was not Africa in that sense. They were being ran in. They were being controlled. At the time they're talking about, Rome and then Greece was running Kemet. And so if we're talking about African world view, African ideology, being present at the beginning of these systems, it's completely fallacious. So
right.
Just because some of these first Christian churches may have popped up on African soil, just because the monophytes and the disophytes were having their arguments and agreements, and one of those dissident groups happened to be on the continent, just because the three main church fathers that Dr. Ben wrongly credits with being indigenous Africans in African origins of major Western religions, just because all that is real and it did take place, does not mean that the African worldview and African thought pre-invasion was present at those meetings with those people. And we're talking the already converted people. And I think that's a crucial point that we've got to bring up.
I'm glad to hear that you called Dr. Benz out. And Dr. Benz, I love him to death, don't get me wrong. But, you know, like I've always repeated here on this show, that some of the scholars, they got some good information, but they got some misinformation too. So we just need to scrutinize everything that we get. And what you did was pointing out that he got a couple of things wrong, you know, and that's fine. Now we got the right information.
And I stand with
Bonnie. And you know,
she has issue with that too, and she mentions it, you know, in Urugu in chapter 2. And I love Dr. Ben. That's another disclaimer I probably got to do. But I was rereading a little bit of that today to get in time with this, and he was like, St. Augustine, indigenous African. I was like, no, he was already converted then. Tertullian and Septimus Severus, this great indigenous. I'm like, if his name was Septimus Severus, he lost his African name. If he's a general running a Roman army, he's not African anymore. That's like,
and you know what,
like, no. So
and you know what, Tyrone, now he's answering.
This is what I see here on the show, Tehuti, is that they take a lot of these scholars and they try to deify them. They try to make them messiahs, and, you know, they can't say no wrong and anything like that. And we need to realize that they're just human, and they are flawed. But go ahead, Howard.
No, I was going to say now he is answering my question. He just put the bullseye on the old donkey there, and answered the question actually really well. So I'll have to go and do that research. Is what he's saying is that, yeah, you know, that may have been part of the territory way back then, but they were not controlled by, per se, Kemet people or Africans back then. So then that ideology would not have been African. Is that what you're saying, brother?
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of things that and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Tehuti, but a lot of things, a bigger part of the picture that we don't understand is, okay, we knew that ancient Africans practiced voodoo and stuff like that, right? But we don't really know the details of what practices and spirituality and all that kind of stuff, because after the Europeans started taking over and indoctrinating everybody, that's the history that we have. We don't have that history prior to that. Not a whole bunch of it anyway.
Right. I mean, folks are, you know, rediscovering it. Like I talked about the Sankofa Conference, the majority of folks there have rediscovered it, and, you know, so we're moving forward trying to, you know, deal with all the other craziness of being African in an anti-African space. But I definitely agree. That's that one question that just stumped so many folks. And even on Facebook, I was dealing with one person, and I just had to tell them, you know, what do you know about what we were doing before Christianity? And if you ask most folks that question, they'll, you know, either say, I don't know, or if they're one of those diehard Christians, or it don't make a difference because that time was being controlled by the devil anyway. And so when they say that, I'm like, you know what, I'm through. I ain't going to debate, I ain't going to argue. If you think all this 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 years was the devil time, and real time just started with the creation of this Bible, I don't even have more to say to you. I'm done. You hit a good point. We don't know about that before time, that before invasion time, and myself and other folks are really taking it upon ourselves to put that time out there, put that information out there. So you can't use that anymore. Oh, I don't know. Well, you just didn't read. So, yeah.
It's not that they don't want to read. It's they don't want to, because anytime you start talking about Jesus, in particular, black people like to say, oh, no, somebody's going to hit me. Somebody's going to strike me. Some spiritual force is going to attack them. If you talk bad of this indoctrination, specifically Jesus Christ, the same Jesus Christ that they look in the wall image, every black household mostly have, or every church, where every woman, not just a man, but the black woman sees as the defined as God. And to be in God's grace, you cannot say nothing negative, or some consequence will happen. A fear factor comes into play once you mention God or Jesus, And see, that's one thing people understand. That's how they use to rule. Fear. Fear is the best tool. Just like Kamau Jones said it. He emphasized about, even, I think, I remember certain chapters or certain pages, he said that, you try not to put much fear. I might be wrong, I'm totally, but he emphasized that with them, you have to be, I think during the times when they were trying to break the slaves into this, that, they had to be somewhat well-rounded. That, times you got to show that only them that you look at the Savior,
Right. Yeah. He did say something equivalent to that. You can't just beat them all. How did he say it? We can't just be only concerned with our slaves' physical well-being. We must also be concerned with their religious well-being. So yeah, he's paraphrased something like that. Yeah. which then goes into the control, which then goes into, if you read certain passages, goes into the fear. So yeah, all that's intertwined with it, definitely. Yeah.
And people forgot to say, Kamau Jones, he looked at people as heathens and said that we need God, in our lives. You know what I'm saying? And that he feels that no salvation for our people, but, to be, like I said, controlled.
Well, let me ask you this right here, man. As far I got your thoughts on religion and stuff. What about spirituality? Is that okay? Let me go ahead and give you my opinion, so they won't be. This is the full disclaimer. I don't believe in any of this stuff. Soul, spirit, ghost, none of that, right? Is spirituality important to
that whole kitchen needs
to be clean.
Okay, Howard, we can hear everything you're saying, brother. But spirituality, is that important to the black community? Should we grab onto spirituality? What do you think about that?
Not just spirituality, because you gave your disclaimer. I'll give mine. The quote that I have come up with is, we will never truly be free until we return to our real African spirituality. So I'm actually on the other side. I feel that we have to come back home to our spiritual systems before invasion. So I wouldn't just say spirituality, because spirituality gets mixed up and hodgepodge with this New Age spirituality crap, and I've seen some of that, and metaphysics without taking Africa anything into context, universal religions without taking Africa anything into context. How the hell are you going to be universal, which means everything, and you don't mention Africa, the first or second largest landmass on the planet, at all within this universal thing? But so I'm very clear, not just spirituality, real African spirituality, meaning lineage-based, blood, ancestor-based, our systems that came with us. And this is, and I do hope you get Kwesi on your show, because he helped me understand that these systems has come with us through the boat ride. Crackers was real good, and over again, I remember growing up hearing it. We were completely 100% stripped of everything African. Stripped your name, stripped your language, Baba Omawali, Khalil Muhammad, they repeated it ad nauseum, stripped of everything. We weren't actually stripped. A white cloak, sort of literally, was put over all of this stuff. And that's why the book, the small but beautiful book, Let the Circle Be Unbroken by Marimba Ani. That's why I really love that book, because she walks you through how actually all of the spiritual stuff that we were doing on the continent was brought over here, but it's got pushed into our, our subconscious or deeper inside. And so now we do stuff of an African cultural and spiritual way, but we don't label it as such. And Wade Nobles brings up the example of when somebody gets shot in present day, we pour out a little liquor, or what else do? We buy balloons, we buy, bears, and what do? We pour it out, and we put these things at the spot where the person died. You know what? That is African. That's a libation and a small shrine for the spirit of that particular person. But we don't acknowledge it as such, but we do that today. I'm just walking down Greenbelt, and I guess somebody got hit by a car or something, and I see a little teddy bear and a little balloon tied to the pole where I guess it happened at. And so when I see that, I give a little deference and I bow in the African sense to pay deference to that spirit. But that's an African continuation that we still do to this day that we don't know that is African. And so
okay, well, I got to push back a little bit because like I just said, I don't subscribe to any of that spirituality stuff. But whenever you saying get paid respect to the spirits, what are you talking about? Like, what spirit are they paying respect to? Like,
well, in that particular.
Before you answer, there's two other calls, but go answer the question before I open the mics because there's other people waiting our turn.
In the example that I just was given, you're paying respect to the spirit of that person that died at that spot. Like when they pour out the little liquor for their homie that died, they're paying respect to the spirit of that homie that just died. When something happens to somebody out in the street and you see the teddy bears and the flowers and all that, whoever set that up is unconsciously paying respect to that person and that person's spirit that died in that particular spot.
Gary, I just want to be clear. I understand that you're saying that they're paying respect to the spirit, and that's what I'm asking. What is this spirit? What is it? Like, what is the spirit?
The animating force of matter. Matter needs spirit. Let me make sure, because remember, spirit needs matter for form, but matter needs spirit for life. So this unquantifiable, you can't measure it in a test tube, but that spirit, if it's not in us, we're dead.
Okay.
I can't measure it. There's no test to give you, you have 15.6 liters of spirit in you. There's no such thing, but that is the thing that animates all life. And
right. I just wanted to get a clear answer. But so we're good, Gary. We can go to the next call, man.
All right.
Can I ask a question there?
Yeah. What happened?
Good.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Gary. Yeah, I just wanted to say, what if you already covered this, let me know.
Wait, Howard, before you ask the question, I got to open this line because I don't want people waiting.
Okay.
313, no, your line is open. 313, your line is open.
That's usually Ottawa. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's me. How's everyone?
All right, Miss. Everything's good. If you've been listening earlier to the show, Miss Awa, my guest is Kamau MakesiTehuti, and our topic is what is the purpose of making black people Christians? And this is my guest. Do you have any questions for my guest, Miss Ottawa?
I do. I think I heard the gentleman, the brother Tehuti, say that we had no way of knowing what the ancients thought about spirituality. Is that what I heard you say, brother?
Not me.
No?
Not me.
Okay.
No.
I'll just hold my thoughts right now, and I'll come back later.
All right, let me open. Thank you, Ms. Awa. Your line will be open. I'm not going to mute you. All once, your line is open. you have questions?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing?
Tonight?
This is Facts. How you doing? I'm just tuning in. And I have a question. Well, first of all, I have a comment. I do agree with him. And his observation. Once again, there's a lot of cliches that are out there, and people just say things, and it's just not really true. When he says the Europeans stripped everything from the African. The Africans were very religious before Christianity ever started. Okay. People saying they weren't religious people, but you can't say that Christianity comes from the ancient Africans, and Christianity is a religion, but then you say African is not a religion. That's a contradiction. So they were religious people, and one reason why I agree with you that they didn't strip everything, just look at how black people celebrate even in Christianity. It's a different way. They celebrate Jesus Christ differently. Look at gospel music. Look at our rhythm. That's African.
Yeah.
That's a teacher that. So I agree with you on that. So 100%, when people make those statements, no, we always have our African flavor in anything that we do. Even if a European makes a particular thing or particular task, when someone like us get into it, we're going to put our extra flavor on it. We may not do it like them, but we still get the task done. But I'm going to say this, and I have a question for you. The word spirituality comes from North America. Basically, one day, I guess it may have been some people I think somewhere in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, were just hearing something, and it comes or it kind of is in the realm of this, I guess, metaphysics type of thing, and they just came up with spirituality. They thought that they can summon their ancestors, Ouija boards. So when you think about Ouija boards, summoning ancestors from the afterlife, someone heard, I think, they were in the country and they heard the wind blow and heard something rattle and they thought it was from the ancestors. So that's the terminology. Spirituality came from that event, if you look at it. But you can branch that word out to many other cultures. You can say people who are spiritual people. They believe in summoning their ancestors. My question to you is, having said that, how is spirituality different than religion?
Again, I make a distinction from just the New Age so-called metaphysical universal spirituality and African spiritual systems. I am a strong proponent that religion is 100% man-made, and we can, if folks are willing to actually try to do the history and dig it up, you could dig it up. There is an origins of Christianity through the Roman Church, through the hodgepodge of taking different stuff from different cultures, a lot from Kemet, but from the other surrounding cultures. Christianity is a buffet religion. It's nothing damn near original in that system or book outside of the wholesale killing and converting of people throughout the millennia. Same with Islam, same with Judaism, all that sort of stuff. With the African systems, however, where I sort of differ is that the way it seems, the world is animated with spirits, for lack of a better term, coming from an African worldview. And that has gotten white folks especially tripped up. They would see, us Africans in front of a tree, in front of a rock, in front of a river, and those stupid folks would be like, oh, look at those stupid backward black folks. They worship rocks and trees and rivers. No, we have actually probably communicated with the spirit in that tree, rock, or river, and we're giving deference to it, or we're listening to it, or talking. So it's like that. So we have more of a phenomenological universe, experience with the universe. Meaning that how to go into this? Spirit joined with the first person. Like, okay, earlier I talked about in juxtaposing it with Christianity, when you go to an African ritual service, you have people who are trained that know what's going on. And in that interaction with spirit, oh man, I'm trying to see how far to go into this to where it makes sense.
Well, just say it any way you can, man. This is an open conversation, and you can just say it however. If you think it's going to hurt somebody's feelings, you can just say whatever, man.
Well, no, not hurt feelings. I just wanted to be clear.
Yes.
There's a phrase that goes around that man made God. And in the Western systems, I would agree with that 100%. But within the African systems, from my research and from my little experience, since the spirit world mirrors the physical world, the spirit world is here, and if we know how to interact with it and engage with it, then we can have a conversation. It seems like 200,000, 300,000 years ago, spirit chose to interact with some of us on the continent and passed its wisdom down to us in how to in how to approach certain deities. That's where you learn the drum rhythms. That's where you learn this deity's favorite color. That's where you learn this deity's, you talk about initiations and, going to Ghana, going to Nigeria, paying a whole bunch of money, getting initiated. But what I'm talking about is that the first person wasn't initiated. They got initiated directly from the spirits. And so for someone, the reason why I'm sort of having a hard time figuring out how to talk about this is because a lot of black folks are totally turned off with spirit talk. It's all spookism from either Karanga's understanding or from the NOI understanding. But when you really go into African spirituality, you have to talk about spirits. You have ancestors within your lineage. You are supposed to still, once they pass, have an interaction with them, even though they're in the spirit world, they're dead and they're gone. And there are countless examples, especially on the continent, where if that relationship is broken, you will piss off the folks on the other side, and they can do certain things to mess up your physical life until you do certain things to propitiate them. So now, again, to someone who feels that spirit, since you can't taste it, touch it, see it, hear it, or smell it, doesn't make sense, then what I just said won't make sense. But if you are really coming from an African world view, pre-invasion, all that sort of stuff, this type of spirit talk and spirit interaction and stuff, that's what's going on the continent all the time. And so when you talk about what's the difference between religion and spirituality, and then when I even demark it a little bit finer than that, what's the difference between real African spirituality and religion and the three Western religions, I would have to say it's a person, I don't want to say it that way. It's a direct interaction with spirit. It's not just push, pray until something happens. It's not that. It's let's use a Yoruba example, for instance. Let's say, no, let me go here since y'all are talking about Vodun. Let's use a Vodun experience. A lot of folks over in Haiti have it's either cut or dry. Either you want nothing to do with that Vodun stuff, or you all up in the Vodun stuff. The folks who don't want to do nothing with that Vodun stuff, it's not because it's fake and it don't work. It's real and it works, but the people are asking for BS stuff. They're asking for stuff to be put on people who's ex-lover. They're asking for big rims. You know, they're propitiating spirit to get stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But what the thing is, it's real. And you can propitiate spirit to get certain things. But what me and other folks are trying to get us to do is ask the right things. Let's do since we're talking about Haiti, let's do what Mackendall and Boukman and them. Let's ask for that. Let's ask for liberation. Let's ask for y'all to come help us get these crackers off of us. Let's ask to help get more liberated. Don't just be asking to get some draws for somebody or to get a better job. So
right.
African spirituality is more about, if you ask for something, the spirits will say, okay, we can do it, and they'll give you a task. Like, go get these items, put them at the crossroads, say this particular phrase. Once that is done, then we will grant what you ask for. So it's more of it's a responsibility on both ends. It's not just you sit there and pray and Jesus do this for me. No, I need this. This is what you need. We're here. Do this, exchange this energy, and then we'll bring about what's going to happen. I went on sort of long. I still don't know if I really answered it, but let me shut up.
Well, yeah, but I just want to say something. I know a story, all right? A woman, she wanted to get pregnant. So she became a Christian. She got pregnant. No one can convince that woman that her Jesus Christ did not get her pregnant. I'm not going to convince that woman that. If I try to convince her, she'll call me a devil. So what I'm saying is, and I agree with you, is what we ask for. But it's the same thing. And I'm just saying, as we look at this, I understand the differences. But the only thing I'm saying is there's a lot of similarities in it. Do you follow? We can point out the differences, but don't be afraid to point out the similarities and admit the similarities. Because I can never ever convince this woman that it was something else that made her pregnant. She will die to her grave that Jesus Christ got her pregnant. Just like you would say that an African priest or African culture say if someone's asking to get pregnant, it comes from the ancestors. It's a similar thing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think sometimes it's to each his own. Because I'd never be able to convince that woman.
Pause there. Let me open up 919. Your mic is now open. You have a question for my guest, Kamau-MakesiTehuti?
Yeah. I got a question. First, I want to make a statement. You know, a lot of our people don't know their ancestors. So when you say grab your African spirituality, aren't you being misleading? Isn't that kind of misleading? Because if people don't know their ancestors, how are they to know that their roots point to Africa? Maybe it doesn't. And so what spirituality are they really grabbing? And matter of fact, even the word spirituality, which is really dumbing us down. So I'm not understanding that. I know where the natural phenomenon is that we're energy. So when you speak on that level, people could really see it and they could say, okay, yeah, this or that. But when you say spirituality, now it becomes some spook, as you say, it becomes spookism. It becomes mystified. It becomes unbelievable. So what African spirituality are you speaking about, and how is that when a lot of our people don't know their ancestors? They don't even know the ones 2 and 3 generations before them. So
interesting. I'm taking notes and stuff. So, don't know the ancestors. What should I deal with that first, or should I deal with the other piece first? Let me try it this way and see where spirit moves me. Even if we don't know our ancestors, that still doesn't stop the fact that we're African people taken from a particular place. We can set up shrines, for lack of a better term. Well, I do have a better term, but I don't confuse folks. You set up a shrine and I could walk through what you would put on the shrine. And if you don't have specific folks that you could call on, you can just say, I'm asking for suggestions, I'm looking for help from my most righteous ancestors. We call those Nananom Insamanfo. Insamanfo is ancestors, Nananom.
Who's we call them that? Who's we call them that?
Excuse me? There's 15 things going on. Go ahead. Caller?
Hello? She there? She dropped off? All right.
Everybody's still on the line, still open. Nobody, you still there? Tehuti, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm still here because he's saying things that I can't see. Who is this we? We call them this or that. I'm not understanding this spirituality. It's like why put more bullshit on the table? That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Why not say, okay, this is we know we're energy. We know we create energy. We know that whatever energy we put out into this world, hey, things happen, things change, or things stay the same, depending. So when you say, oh, well, you got to speak this way, I'm not understanding that. Oh, so help me out.
We are all a continuation of those who came before us in our blood lineage. So therefore, beyond energy, they are our blood. They are our family within the lineage that we live in. There are those that's behind us who have passed, and there are those who have yet to come. So when I speak of ancestors, I'm not just speaking of some crazy angels or all that other stupid stuff. I'm specifically speaking of folks within your bloodline and blood lineage. Now, if you don't know specific ones, the righteous ones to call on, I'm just saying you can just set up the shrine and say, I need strength or help from my righteous blood ancestors. I'm having this problem. You see what's going on with me with this particular issue. I need some help. So instead of just calling on nebulous energy that's anything and everything out there, you are directing your energy to call upon specific people in your lineage who love you because you're part of their family and who want to see you succeed. So I, Kamau Tehuit, am trying to get folks to fine-tune the level of interaction that we're having with unseen forces and leave the new age just nebulous energy piece alone and get it back specifically to ancestors who are waiting on the other side trying to help. But since we're not calling on them, we have a large spiritual unemployment going on within the African community because we're running around white folks and their nebulous new age spiritual stuff.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Ancestors that want us to help us.
Let me ask you a question. Would you say Dr. Malachi York was spiritual? And what?
No, Malachi York was a pedophile.
Oh, now you do.
Yes, I went there.
Wait, before you answer, let me see who's this on the caller. All ones, your mic is open.
Hear me? I think I got cut off. You heard me?
Yes, you're there. Who's this again?
All right.
All ones.
This is JNYC again, man. But I let the brother answer for the sis.
No, I wanted to ask him. Okay.
And then I would like
he
to ask
answered
a question.
Jay New York. He said he was a pedophile. He just cut it short. He wants to denounce the fact that the man was spiritual. People followed him because he claimed to be of some spiritual form. He wanted to denounce that part. So
I just wanted to ask real quick to say that personality doesn't personality coincide or connect as spirituality, and we just kind of make spirituality something more than what it is? Spirituality could be a personality of a person, because when he says, oh, I remember his spirit, his spirit was like that. Wasn't that the personality, or are we talking of something that's beyond the body? We're talking about something that actually, like when they say a ghost or, we could see, the spirit, and they say the spirit is flying around. And so, for me, spirit, if we get down to the grain of shit, I say spirit is really just a personality.
Right.
And we just make it more than what it is. But that's, I'll leave it at that, my bad.
Well, I just want to ask him a question. He said that if we're not with the technical voodoo stuff, and I agree with the gentleman, he said that we can set up our own shrine. My question to you is, if I wanted to set up my own shrine, what materials would I need to set up that particular shrine?
Wait, come on. Before you answer, let me check.
Okay.
Before you answer, let me see who opened this line. 1 second. 404. Your line's open. Who's this one I'm speaking to?
This is Nas in Atlanta.
Okay. Before you speak, Nas, let him answer this question. Go ahead. Come on.
Well, actually, there was 2 questions out there, and so I don't know if since you brought him on, if he wanted to ask a question, then because I'm writing notes here, because I'm still looking back to get the thing to answer for the first one, really. So he can ask that one, and then I'll write that down, and I'll address all 3 if I can.
Okay, Nas, ask your question, because he's writing notes to answer.
Okay, well, first of all, I'll say salute to the brother. I actually listened to his show, Africa's Reascension. He gives great work, in my opinion. And also, I'll say he has that book out there. I think, what's it called? How to Make a Negro a Christian. I think the book was the title of the book. But the only question I would ask, indeed. So the only question I would ask for the brother would be, can you give some type of display of the libation ceremony? Because I don't think a lot of people get to hear that. And that clip you play of Dr. Carr doing that libation ceremony actually got me through a few funerals of family members, because going into that church, listening to that nonsense, they were saying it just didn't feel right. But when I would go outside on my phone and listen to that libation ceremony, it brought me some calm during funerals this past 2 years, man. So, salute.
That's what's up. Oh, okay. Yes, I can. All right. So we got 3 questions here on the table. We've got a question on altar creation. We've got a question on the libation piece that I do at the beginning of all my shows, and then he mentioned the one that Brother Carr did. And then we've got is spirit and spirituality only personality?
Right.
So let me, in the order they was asked, well, with the altar piece, it can be as simple as a white cloth, a candle, and some water at bare minimum, because I've talked to quite a few folks who unfortunately are rooming. They're rooming with Christian folks, and so they can't have a full elaborate, altar out because they be questioned all the time. I have one friend, he even made a whole little cabinet special for his particular altar. If you want to make it more elaborate, then, actually, let me take that. To start, you do just want to do an ancestral altar, which you want to have some pictures of some of your ancestors, of if your mom had passed or grandma, something like that. You want to have some of their pictures on there. But then, like I said, also at bare minimum, a white cloth, because white is one of the symbols for the ancestors, at least within the Akan and the Yoruba systems. Some water so you can pour the libation. And you want to pour it into possibly a plant. You don't necessarily have to. You could just pour it into a vessel and then pour it out. But you can have some water and then something to pour it into. And then a candle, just the candle, which is fire, which, as you know, from the New Age spiritual angle, too much fire, it can burn. Too little fire, it won't ignite, it won't heat up stuff enough. So you just need that right balance of fire. And so that's one of the things that the candle represents, but it also helps send the energy out to where you need it. And you can get more elaborate, and you can have deity and altars and stuff like that, but if you just, in the beginning, calling your ancestors, that's how you would start it out with those things. And then if I could point you in some directions to add stuff to the altar if you need it. Now, since we talked about the altar, then I'll move into the libation, and I'll even pull out the one that I do on, and I'm glad the brother gave me a shout-out, Africa's Reascension, usually every Sundays, 9 p.m. right here on Blog Talk, going on 5 years now. The libation is an ancient practice that is still done in most rural traditional areas throughout the continent. It is something that's done to call upon spirits to bless a particular gathering. Again, for folks who aren't used to talking about spirit talk, and it's from you coming from an NOI perspective or a Karenga perspective, you're not going to like Kamau too much because I'm always talking about spirit, but I'm talking about spirit within nationhood, nation building, reafghanization, and Pan-Africanism. So I'm not just talking about lighting some incense and candles and all that, and that's all that needs to be done. No, I'm talking about I'm talking about doing it like Haiti. I'm talking about doing it like Jamaica. But anyway, so the libation, how I do it, well, not even how I do it. There is a particular order where you start it off with calling on the different names for the creative energy. And so by my show, Africa's Reascension being a Pan-African show, I try to throw in some names for the creator from different places throughout the continent. So I do that, and then you get more specific. Then you get to call on specific deities. Then you get to call on specific energies of the area that you're in. Then you call on your lineage ancestors. Then you call on the national hero type ancestors, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, folks like that. And then you then you state the purpose of the libation, of the gathering. Like I say, at any major gathering, you're going to have a libation because you want positive energy there. The libation's purpose also is to ward off negative energy. And I've mentioned this in one of my shows. The libation, specifically from Ghana, it's a 5-tiered process. One of the things got left out in the libation coming over here, and the thing that got left out is probably due to the Christian mindset. In Ghana, specifically, the piece that's left out is you ask for harm against your enemies. In every libation, you will find somebody either asking for death to their enemies or may our enemies not, harm or mess up this event. You see that across the board in Ghana. Somehow, some way, when the libation process came over here, that whole piece got wiped out. And I was like, huh? How'd that happen? And one author was brave enough to say that was probably because of Christianity and that whole piece. And so I made sure within my libation, to add that back in with the phrase "kum achewade fo nyena o," and that's a Twi term for kill all my enemies, basically. So the libation, you call upon the name of the supreme deities, Almighty. You call upon the names of the other deities. You call upon the names, and you're pouring water while you're doing this. You call upon the names of your lineage-based ancestors, the ones whose shoulders you're standing upon. You call upon the names of those national hero ancestors who have personally moved you and took you further in this journey, Ida B. Wells, Malcolm X, all that sort of stuff. You ask for other stuff, like in mine, I ask for wisdom, I ask for knowledge, I ask for more money. I ask that the family's taken care of, and then you state the message of the libation, and then you put the message in there to get rid of your enemies, and then that's the end libation. So very quickly, that covered two of the questions. Is spirit, and if I'm not answering the questions, I'm sure y'all let me know. Is spirit only personality? No,
there you go.
It is not. No, it is not.
All right.
Real African spirituality engages unseen forces that are, 1, repressed internal personality archetypes, and nature forces, and extra-dimensional spirit forces, and forces outside of our limited human cognitive abilities. So some folks have tried to fully dismiss African spirituality and say, oh, that's just regressed personality archetypes. And I've even had someone read me this verbatim from a book that some white person wrote. And she was trying to pass it off as authoritative. And I'm like, no, the deities are real. and so it's nature. I've heard someone else say, oh, African spirituality is nothing but just propitiating to the nature spirits. It's more than that. It's that, but it's more than that also. So, yes, while Shango...
Well, let me ask you, because you just said that's very important. Did you say that the deities are real? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
All right, I just want to be clear on that.
Look, real quick, I just wanted to say, because I to a certain extent, I could understand what you're saying, and I would say, real quick, just saying in regards to keeping the tradition, so I don't want to misspeak and say, African spirituality doesn't mean nothing but personality. I think is a kind of a carry-on tradition of the way these brothers and sisters conducted themselves or traditionally did things.
There's no separation, basically. You're saying there's no separation, right, Jay? Yeah. There's no separation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'll work. But I also just want to wrap it into, again, if your mind isn't caught up in Karanga's or NOI's definition of spookism, if you can understand spirit and what I'm trying to get at, Ogun is a deity of war. Ogun has an aggressive personality type. So if you join with Ogun, then usually, if you are a child of Ogun, you usually have that aggressive type of personality or that assertive type of personality. So in one aspect, yes, it is personality types. And so when someone says which Orisha is governing your head, it's usually an Orisha that best matches your particular personality as you live. So that part is true, but it's also more. Ogun is an actual deity that can take up residence in anyone that's at that particular bembe. Ogun is an energy that you can call upon and talk to and ask questions of and get answers back from. So it's also that's the other piece on Ogun.
Okay, you said that's Ogun. How do you spell that? Ogun.
O-G-U-N. I mean, there's a few different spellings depending on who you're reading it from. I think the Lukumi added extra U in there, but the way I've seen it is just directly O-G-U-N.
I found it. I'm just doing. I've never heard any of this stuff, man. And as you speak about it, I'm just trying to, find out what I can about it. But you said that you can use this Ogun thing and manifest stuff from the spirit world. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Have you ever did that?
That's what I'm saying. That would be one big thing. I mean, the brother said, old girl called on Jesus and got pregnant. I don't know. I would question that. But I would say that is one thing that I would classify as a difference between the two. But again, with real
have you ever used this Ogun to manifest stuff? Have you ever used this Ogun to manifest stuff?
Well, okay. I'm giving that as an example. I follow the Akan system, so I'm a child of Tigray. Tigray is a witch hunter. Tigray is a truth teller. He don't care who likes it or not.
Give me Tigray then, because I ain't never heard of this one. You said Tigray?
Yes. That's from the Akan system in Ghana. Again, different spellings, but Tigare. Tigray. And so to answer that question, yes, I have asked Tigray for certain things, and they have manifested. I have asked for stuff, and I was told to do some stuff, and I didn't do it, and it didn't get manifested. So it works both ways, in the positive and the negative. If I would have did it, the stuff I was told to do, I probably would have gotten what I asked for. But I learned my lesson the second time, and it did work. So.
And can I ask a comment? You did say something interesting.
Pause. I got new caller. Restricted number. Your line is now open.
Hello. I've been listening for about 12, 15 minutes. So are these African spirits you're talking about, and under what kind of doctrine are you following?
Oh, wait, before Mikhail, don't answer it. Let me open one more line. 314, your line's open. Who's this?
Hey,
did you hear me?
How you doing?
Okay. Go ahead, answer your question.
That was a good question, Miss Lady. Very good question.
I mean, I didn't hear any response.
Right, very good question, lady.
He told me to wait, and I was going to get you to repeat it.
Go ahead now. Go ahead. Go ahead to it. You can answer.
Well, no, I wanted her to repeat it because the second part, what type of doctrine am I following? But she said something about the spirits I didn't catch in the beginning.
I've only been listening about 12, 13 minutes, and so is this an African concept you're talking about? Is this a religion? If this is a doctrine, is what is the title of these things you're calling on these different spirits? And by the way, Tyrell, spirits are real, and it's not spookism, and I've talked to many people that have seen them, and they're just in another dimension. And so when they want to manifest, they will, but they are real. And just because you haven't seen them doesn't mean that other people have not.
Okay, well, see, here's the problem. Let me just respond to this right here. See, I'm not the one that come on here and say, you know what, Miss Lady, let me prove this to you. You had to come on here and say, look, Tyrone, these are real. In other words, you got to convince people of your dogma. If spirits were real, you wouldn't have to tell me. You wouldn't have to tell me.
You have to.
You get what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to tell me,
but you have to replicate it, though, Miss Lady.
But see, what I'm trying to tell you is that.
No, it has nothing to do with.
So, Miss Lady, let me watch this right here. Listen. Your phone is real. You ain't got to convince me that you got a phone, right? But you somehow or another felt like you had to convince me that these spirits were real.
I'm not to convince you that you're inhaling oxygen. You can't see it.
But we know what oxygen is made of.
But we can measure oxygen, though.
You gave it a name, oxygen, for a reason, because we know what it's made of.
We can weigh oxygen. We can measure it.
Whoa.
We can weigh it.
Whoa.
We can abstract oxygen.
Because you haven't seen something doesn't mean that other people have not.
Okay, well, this is what we ain't going to do. I ain't going to argue with you. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me do this right here, because we got a guest here tonight, Mr. Tehuit. I ain't trying to steal from his thunder or nothing like that. I already told him what my views are. So you guys can go ahead and talk to Mr. Tehuit. I'm not going to get into this.
I think you're scared. You're just so resistant to even.
No, Gary's show tonight, and he got a guest. But if you want me to talk about it, if people want me to sit up here and go on my little rants, I can. I ain't got no problem with it.
No, that's just my perception only, Tyrone, that you're so afraid of the possibility you're not going to even entertain that it could be true.
What?
You're just like automatically.
I'm moving on.
I'm trying to be nice. I mean, basically, we're trying to be nice tonight, and really respect the guest.
I'm really, he put up a lot of good stuff on the floor, and we need to hear that. It's just that I don't subscribe to this whole spirit part. But he's answering it. He's answering it, and he's answering everybody's questions, so everything is good to go. So I ain't trying to get no.
But see, one thing I agree with him when he says that the European, and what I'm learning is when he says that you're supposed to pray for your enemy's failure. That was stripped from the black Africans that came over here. Now that's one thing, because you said they didn't strip everything. But they say love your enemies. That concept doesn't even make sense. Even if you address someone as your enemy, that's not even addressing them in a loving way. So I agree with you, sir, on that principle. It does not make sense.
What about if you pray that they will have a change of spirit, mind, and heart?
No.
Not that they
no.
If
someone is your enemy,
endeavor.
you want them to leave. You want them to get the fuck away from you. They're your enemy. And you can never love your enemy. Addressing someone as your enemy is never addressing them love.
Hey, hold on, guys. Look, Gary, I ain't trying to take over nothing, but look, let's go and get to some of these phone calls. There's some people just texting me.
Thank you, Tyra. Wait, relax. All right. I'm gonna open up the questions.
Can we let the guest respond?
Wait. She had a question. I don't think none of us call it a doctrine. We are reverting. We are achisan, to go back. We are reverting back to our ancient ancestral spiritual traditions. Before we were brought here, whether as Christians, Muslims, or whatnot, for 200, 300, 400,000 years, we had particular ways of dealing with spirit, our ancestors, and our deities. And those are the only times we have been in 100% control of our destinies. Those during the Ma'asa, those have been the only times where we have been successful. There are 0 successful Christian rebellions against slavery. 0. But we can. Go ahead.
All right.
But we can mention Haiti as a successful. Now let's compare it before. If y'all have a successful Christian rebel against slavery, I want to hear it juxtaposed with Haiti, because Haiti, after they were done, were 100% sovereign black nation. That's the level of success I'm talking about. So if there's a Christian based up, because Nat Turner wasn't successful, Gabriel Prosser wasn't successful, DeMar Vesey wasn't successful, what happened in 1791 wasn't successful, the folks in Louisiana were. So it was acts of rebellion, but the only group to get the sovereignty and to get the freedom off of their backs from white folks was Haiti. Was the folks in Jamaica, the Maroons in Jamaica, were the Maroons in Salamanca.
Hey, brother, can I ask you a question?
Before anybody say something, let me open the line. 816. Hold on, relax. 816. Your line's open. Is this Renee? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
816.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm just listening right now. Yeah.
Okay. Let me open the next line. 6. Hold on.
We got
678. Your line is open. Your line is open. 678. Do you have any questions for my guest? Kamau Tehuit.
I have a question. Your line is open. Who's on the line?
678.
Hold on, Miss Lady.
What do you think about?
Wait a minute. Don't interrupt while we get the lines now. This is too much confusion. So let's see if we can get 678 here. Who's 678? He's not answering, Gary. So move to the next one, man.
All right, I'm muting back. Okay, let me open all ones. Hold on.
I just wanted to ask him about CERN. Because people believe they are open portals.
Can't go with your question right now as we open the lines. Hold on for 1 second, please. Who's the unknown caller?
Jackie.
Okay, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
One second. 1 second, Jackie. Let me open one more line. And hold on. 314. Your line is not open. You have questions? More guests?
Yes. I got this is Brother E. I got a question for the guests. I'm sorry.
Okay. Ask your question, and then I'm gonna go up and down. Ask your question. Go ahead.
Okay, my question is, what books or ancient books have you been reading that you can summon these gods? Is it a God summoning book, or that's all?
And who's this that's talking?
Yeah, I got a question.
Wait, before you ask questions, I want to know who asked that question. What's your name again?
Brother E.
Okay,
that's Brother E, man.
Okay, 2, you could answer if you want.
As far as, because the only question I got was that particular question. No, there's no God summoning book. There's no. I mean, if you follow Ifa, they do have a book, but most of the other systems don't have a particular book. As far as, again, if you want to speak the African proverb, if you want to speak to God, you speak to the wind. No one tells a child about God. And so it's almost to the point, it's not a particular book necessarily. I mean, some folks who follow the Kemetic system use the Pert M. Heru, and they attempt to redo those rituals in that book. But if you want to communicate to your ancestors, you can do it right now. I mean, you have an altar set up, so you have a specific place and usually a specific time where you go ahead and communicate with them, but you could just put up your prayer or your question or your inquiry to the wind necessarily, and the ancestors or those particular deities would hear you. If you want, like I say, again, a more concentrated flow of that energy, then you would go to your altar and ask for stuff that way. So there's no particular book for us Africans. It's just natural to interact with spirit forces. And only in the last, couple hundred years, have we been disconnected from that. The atheist position is a non-African position, period. There are no classic, traditional, nobody African nothing that had this long treatise and back and forth on does spirit exist, does God exist, all that. That has only come from white folks, only. I'm talking Timothy or Thomas Hobbes and Aquinas and some of these other Caucasians. No ancient traditional African has ever called himself atheist, because the legitimacy of spirit is just constant throughout on Africa. So that's some new stuff that's been happening. But yeah, there's no specific book per se. You just ask and receive.
Well, right about that, you can't call yourself no black atheist, believing in African spirituality. That's crazy.
Who's that, Pianki?
Gary, can I say something?
But there are folks on Blogtalk who do that.
Right, but it's crazy.
Really,
but I'm
Kamau,
just saying
that's
they need
true.
to change their name, though. No, hold up, brother. I'm just saying, if you're going to convey to our children,
I can say something.
Brother, you're right. You do not label yourself an atheist. That's all I'm saying.
How many of us
that
even get our questions?
Whose turn is it, Gary?
Hey, Pianki, you can ask a question.
Gary! All the phone lines open.
Well, Kamau, I disagree with you on that, because human beings had to believe in nothing before they could believe in something.
Boom.
And when you talk about calling on your
nothing
ancestors,
is something, you dummy. You dumb bitch. Nothing is something. You just
Wait a minute. Hold on.
He's right.
Wait. Listen.
Nothing
guys.
is something.
Gary is trying to
what are
run
you
this
labeling
for
nothing?
Can you not hear what I'm saying now? Because we need to get this shit under control. Y'all getting out of control. So Gary trying to do the best he can. Y'all need to respect that and allow him to at least try to run this show. But let me check 6, 7, 8. Wait,
hang
hold
on.
on.
Let me finish, Tyrone.
Damn minute. God damn, can you stop talking right now? Please stop talking. Please stop talking right now, please. Thank you. Let me check 6, 7, 8. Who is 6, 7, 8?
It's Brother Unc, man. Black African.
That's Brother Unc. I'm trying to tell you, Brother Unc was trying to
real black.
Hold on. What's
up? And your name is a fraud. Change your name on. Please do. Our community.
Wait a minute. Welcome to the show, Gary. I'm going to give you the helm back, please.
Okay.
Anyway, let me finish what I was saying.
Hey, this is Renee, and I'm supposed to be guesting with. I know, and I'm out there, Renee. Y'all just not even going in no order. So please, y'all give him respect and don't talk over him.
Well, I was getting ready to say one other thing to Kamau. Kamau, you tell that people need to call upon their ancestors, but they got to call on both sides of their ancestors. Wouldn't you agree?
You don't call on rapists. No. That makes no sense.
Well, they're your ancestors.
But
because
racist,
W.D. Du Bois' ancestors, Du Bois had a white father, and he had a black mother. And the Africans that came over here, well, let's put it like this. My wife, which is Away, her ancestors is not the same ancestors as the average African-American's ancestors. Those deities that you're talking about, she can relate to. But African Americans, it's not. I mean, it's just the way it is. Their path back to their ancestors takes two routes, and you have to acknowledge that. Because
takes two routes. No, go ahead. Explain that.
Well, it does. It takes two routes. Du Bois's route to his ancestors takes two routes. It has to take two routes. Adam Clayton Powell's route to his ancestors takes two paths.
So when white blood get in you stop being black?
Well, no, they part of your ancestors.
Okay, let me try this. I got a friend in that position. Let me address this question. I got a friend in that position, and he tried to follow that, and he set up an altar, and he had two halves of it. And so on one half he had his black mama's ancestors stuff on there, and on the other side he had his white father's ancestors on there. And it was in a room all by itself, so the windows was closed, nothing. He comes back the next day, and somehow he still doesn't to this day don't know what happened, but all of the stuff on his white daddy's side was all knocked down, all on the floor. Nobody was in the room, no kids was running around, no stuff, wind blowing, nothing. He did it the next day, and the same thing happened. He took it eventually as a message that I'm not putting this side up, I'm just sticking with this side.
Well, what you probably had there,
I don't see folks calling on rapists within the family. 99% of the white folks that are quote-unquote in our lineage are rapists. We want to forget them. We want to get them out of our minds.
Wait a minute now.
So we would not be setting up. You get a chance to say your point.
You're going on too long. I just made one point. Let me make this one point so I can get out of here real quick. You're going through a lecture. I hear what you said, but my response to that,
it's rape and you don't call on rapists. I thought it was something.
Well, Emmett Till's father was a rapist.
Who was?
Now, let me get back to what I was getting ready to say. If it was like that, then what you had...
R. Kelly,
well, come on, man. I mean, you over here at T.R.S., you visiting our site.
Yeah,
we don't talk over each other. Now, let me finish. Now, as I said before, they got two routes. And to the scenario that you gave with the person in the Appalachian, you probably have ancestor spirits that's still fighting against each other. But in true facts, people have, the way that it is, they have two paths to their ancestors. Now that they hear, Alicia Keys does, she's considered as black. Now, you may not want to admit that, but factually it's true. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Packy.
Okay.
Have a great night.
Okay. I guess he just felt the need to talk because he hadn't talked all day, but he didn't want feedback and dialogue. So I won't give him dialogue. I'll go to the next person.
All right, next person.
And I have another question. So that's like something that's passed down, I'm guessing.
Oh no, I'm just listening right now. I know.
Oh, I just wanted to know, brother. Like, so you said there's no book. There's a certain way. So I'm guessing my next question would be, well, how did you learn? Did you learn from like an elder? Was it passed down? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, for me, I did read copious amounts of books. But as I said in the beginning, all of the books that I read didn't prepare me for the African spiritual ritual experience. Like being in that account setting, hearing drums, seeing people dancing, feeling the deities come into the space that you're at. None of the books had, really set me up mentally for that. And
you actually seen deities come into the space where you're at. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
Even just last week. Again, at the Sankofa conference, they do it for 3 days. They ended with a...
Okay. What does a deity look like? What does a deity look like? Please answer that. What does a deity look like?
It has no form, Tyrone.
It's not like that. The energy enters into a physical person. The energy enters into a physical person.
The deity come into your space, and you not like that. So tell us how it is.
Right, that's what I was doing. So the energy joins a particular person. So if that particular person is trained already, then they would have like a little suitcase, because there are certain things that the deities wear that let you know, okay, this is a surgery.
None of
like
that's quantifiable. None of that's testable. None of that's. Okay, I'll shut up. Y'all go ahead, man.
I
got no caller. Hold on.
You can't have another caller. Wait a minute, Brian, get a chance to speak. That's some bullshit right there.
I got to be fine because you're waiting. I want to.
I'm waiting to see what
It's too much confusion. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get your call in, and then the next caller go ahead after. Go ahead, Aunt.
Man, I just want to say hello to the family.
What's happening, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Well, how you doing, sis? The scientist, Sister Jackie. Be honest with you, I don't bang on traditional African systems, but what I will tell you is, this is a statement that I stick with. None of the altars, none of the ancestors, none of them saved our ass when they came and kidnapped us. So that should tell you that shit was lacking somewhere. And we got to understand that at some juncture, some point, superstition overtook the science and technology that made us great. The science and technology that was the original African system. And I've been trying to get people back to science and technology the last 10 years. Okay, my whole fight. So when those who say, well, there aren't any African atheist nations, I've never said that black people, Africans, originally called themselves atheists. It was no need to call themselves that. They had a natural way of life. They're looking at the world. And they formed a reality from the natural world. And they looked at the birds, the bees, the trees, the apples, the flies, and everything in it. And they added attributes to those things and worked them in their life. Natural
so,
way.
Brother
hold on, let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. When other nations, other people came to learn from these African people, when they took back that natural way of looking at the world, they called them atheists. Plain and simple. So whenever you look at the natural world...
Who is they?
Man, come on, bruh. Cut it out. You ain't even ready for that conversation. Just cut it out, man. Right now, you talking all the altars and all that, they're going to call you an atheist. They're going to say, you do not believe in God. What you say? I've been through it. Go to your aunts, your uncles. They're going to look at you like you crazy, right? Voodoo going to say you out your mind. You're a devil. That's the truth, brother. So whenever we practice our thing, regardless of what it is, right, you're going to be anti-God. Plain and simple. So we should never try to hook our thing up. Well, if our thing is right, wrong, or indifferent, you should never try to hook it up with the monotheistic religions. But we were scientists, and we lost our way. Superstition, a bunch of crap, and none of them altars saved our motherfucking ass. No matter what you say. So send I'm asking right now, send the spirit to change our society right now. That's all I'm saying. Right now. Stop the police from shooting our babies. Stop the crack dealers. Stop the low-income moms from being on food stamps with the mighty altar. You can't do it. You're vulnerable just like everybody else. I just want to make that point, cut the crap, and cut the damn shenanigans. It's something to this that you have not recognized.
This is miseducating people. I cannot believe it.
Hold on. Can I get this point? Can I get this question to the brother?
Wait, hold on.
No. Send a spirit this way. Send me 2-3 spirits this way. And I'll ask you, why don't you send a goddamn spirit to the president's house? Why you don't send a goddamn spirit to the chief of fucking police? Because you can't do it. Because you like everybody else. We need to work together and learn science and technology. Because they're killing us with science and technology. They defeated us with science and technology. They didn't defeat us with the best altar. It's a bunch of crap. Cut the shenanigans. So I
is
don't
blame on Squad?
Africa.
Is this
Raw Squad the fuck up?
Okay, I just want to make sure this is on. All right, if anybody wants, come on, you want to answer?
All right, well, who's area code 773, man?
This on, man. I'm checking it out, man. I'm just listening now. I was about to ask about the definition of pseudo because I mean, if there wasn't nobody gonna say nothing, I mean, what you're saying is not that I don't want to agree because I want to agree with you, but you can't prove what you're saying about none of that stuff. So it's like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not tangible, and we can't deal with it. And
now, are you talking to the
guest
guest or are you talking to Aunt?
I was talking to the guest. I was agreeing with. I just took the words out of my damn mouth. I was gonna say it, and he beat me to it.
All right, let me let the guest. Okay, go ahead and respond to that. Tehuti. Oh, did I mute Tehuti? I muted every damn body.
Killer,
sorry,
I was just wondering.
Too much damn noise. Go ahead, Tehuti.
Is he still there? I just want to know what was the deep African science and technology that the Haitian used to beat France during that time, which was the America militarily of that time. What science and technology did they use to get their freedom and independence? If it wasn't African spirituality.
It's called unity, and it's called the damn gun. It's called being on your home turf, goddammit. That's what they use. They use
that means you have to really look at it. Okay.
Listen.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get all these. Gary, don't mind me, but just let me check these lines right quick. Who's this unknown caller?
We're talking 50 guns, 50 people to one.
Freaking Black Power, what up?
Okay.
The terrain is relatively flat there. I don't know if you've been to Blaze Canaan. I mean, it was a lot more than just science and technology.
And I'm gonna tell you,
that not only
not
only helped Haiti, but also helped Jamaica and also helped the folks in Suramaka.
All right, let me pause y'all for 1 second. Let me pause y'all for 1 second. Mama's boy, your line is open, and whose line is this right here? 447 look like.
Shabbat Shalom, balance, paradise, and righteousness. What did it do, big boss?
Hey, what's up, Paul L? All right, we'll get Mama's boy, and then after Mama's boy, go Paul L. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'll get Jackie, and then we'll go down the line. I'll open you guys' line back up. But go ahead, Mama's boy, and then Paul L. And what I'll try to do, since there's a lot of people online, I'll go ahead and schedule a second show for 12 o'clock. But go ahead, Mama's boy.
Oh, gosh.
I like to pay homage to my brother Sarah Susan Seti. If we could have astro project or use any of that bullshit, we would have used that shit in the bottom of them slave ships. And I'm gonna sit back.
we got that.
And I would hate for this to become a juxtaposition between spirituality or science and technology, because Kamau-MakesiTehuti is for both. And I don't see a way forward without one or the other. So I just want to be clear.
Well, I'm
not for just ringing bells and all that sort of stuff. I'm for both.
Get a definition?
Just to be clear.
Can we get a definition?
Don't forget about me, Tyrone.
Well, I'm not going to forget about you. I'm trying to go down the line here. Hold on for 1 second. We got Paul L. Go ahead, Paul L.
Hello. The only point I'd like to raise, as I always do, it's about the application of said information or system someone is using. If you can utilize a system to enrich your life, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, if you don't believe in said deity or creator or deities, then that's shalom. You know what I mean? You do what you do, which maintains your life, as long as it's moral, you know, and you ain't trying to kill or harm folk, then that's all that it should be. You should be existing and trying to uplift yourself and other people. I don't think that there's a major need to be fighting now people about what they're dealing with. If they're dealing with something which is unrighteous, of course, you know, and if you want to express your opinion and inject your truth into it, because truth is truth, but sometimes it can be very subjectional to each individual. So my little motto, my little thing is just, you know, do you, as long as you ain't harming anybody else and you're trying to manifest some form of righteousness, do it. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately,
right,
a lot of people
was that just
agree
a general,
with you, and they
you directed it straight to
the position that we're in.
Go ahead,
Tehuti. Again, big boss.
No, well, I'll let Tehuti respond. He heard your question. Go ahead, Tehuti.
I just said a lot of people agree and follow with what the caller just said, and it's part of that mentality that has kept us and keeps us in this position. You do you, I do me, everything is everything, and that keeps us in this position. Christianity was given to us to keep us docile so we don't fight back, and it hasn't changed from 1831 when this cracker gave it to us in the first place to now. So if somebody doesn't start addressing it and try to purge it from the African soul, well, guess what? More of us will get shot out in the street, more of us will keep forgiving, more of us will keep marching, and ain't shit gonna change. So.
All right. Hey, we got that. I mean, hold on, guys. I'm coming. Jackie, you're next, and then Howard, and then I'll go down the line here. Go ahead, Jackie. All right. We're gonna go with Howard.
All right. I'm here, Ty. Can you hear me?
Wait a minute. Wait. Maybe I think I got Jackie line muted. Let me check. I done muted every damn body. I don't know what the hell.
Did you? You can hear me, Tyrone?
Yeah, you're on, Okay, I'm gonna open everybody's line. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there's Jackie. Go ahead, Jackie, and then we get Howard after Jackie. Please, y'all, don't talk over one another. I got y'all lines open, and I will go right back down and mute everybody. That bullshit.
You were doing
like
good.
You're doing right now, Bianchi. Don't do that, okay? So go ahead,
I was
Jackie.
just telling you to go down the line.
I got you, man. Go ahead, Jackie.
First thing I want to say is about somebody was really definitive about there not being atheism in Africa. Sometimes people don't study hard, or they only study with a biased eye, looking for things that support what they think they already know or how they feel. If you look at the southern region of the continent of Africa, and you can see it in the Sankoi people, they have been for millennia. They have been, if you want to call it practicing, they practice a system of humanism, and a lot of atheists will refer to themselves as humanists, and this is a form of being irreligious. So when people talk about, and the Sankoi people are like the oldest people on the planet. So when you say that there is no atheism in Africa, you are being really deceptive when you say that, because these people are here, they're still here, and they still have these same practices. The second thing I want to say, I heard talking about Oguns and Orishas and Akon and all of this stuff, and I want to say this first, that all of this, there is no difference in spirituality and religion. All of that shit is superstition. Superstition has never gotten us anywhere further than science and technology has, and you can look at the world and see this, because once they knew how these things work, there is no reason to appease to deities and things like this for sun and wind and rain, because we know how these things happen. So there is no need for us to be superstitious anymore. I don't see a need for it. And when you talk about these different deities, I mean, we people, you have to go back and you have to look at the people that populate the continent of Africa. There is not just one or two or three people. There are many, many thousands of different ethnic groups on that continent, all being black, all different, and they all have their own, most of them have their own separate spiritual systems or different ways of being superstitious. And you can look at this, and you can see that the Yorubas and the Akons and all of these different groups of people, they're not always following the same deities and all of this stuff. So I don't see the point in saying, well, we need to get back to our African spirituality, and what you're doing is just grabbing a deity from these people, grabbing a deity from those people, and putting all this shit together and telling people that you can achieve things by appeasing to these deities. Bobby Hemmett did that. He's been doing that shit, and his ass ain't bounced back from that stroke yet. Where is the damn deities now? All right,
hold on, Jackie. Let me get clarity for the people.
Respond to that, right?
I'm gonna let you respond to it, but let me just try to get
war in Haiti when we know that they had weapons. It wasn't that wanted to work the weapons.
All right, Jackie, I got a question for you. These Sankoi people, how you spell that? SANCOY? How do you spell that?
Actually,
KHOI.
KHOISAN. Which I was.
All right, and the reason that I'm putting that on the table, because the next time somebody come up here with an ignorant response and said that all Africans believe in spirituality, you just got somewhere you can reference to show you that, hey, they didn't believe in this spirituality and they had their own thinking.
No,
that's a lie. That's a lie. I'll wait for my turn because she's a lie, yo.
Hold on.
She's right. That's incorrect.
Hold on the line, Ty.
Will you slow the hell down?
That's a lie. She just lied and miseducated everybody.
God damn, man. Shit. Let me do the damn show. Come on, man. All right, Tehuti, you can respond to that.
First of all, it's pronounced Khoisan or just San, Khoisan, or just San. And then it's not Akon, it's Akon. That's the folks in Ghana. That's the group that I'm connected to. One of the names for their supreme being is Kagan, Cagn. They do have a deity of sickness. They do have a multitude of deities. If she was reading the 3 books that white folks have written about the sun, maybe that's how she got that impression. But if you do any elementary, and yes, I'm saying it that way because of the energy she brought. If you do any elementary reading on the Khoisan people, you will see they are directly in line with the rest of the people on the continent as far as understanding their deities, as far as understanding how to extract medicines out of the plants, which is hugely an African process from conferring with the spirits and then knowing the medicinal properties in those particular plants. They do that as well. They have deities for the wind, for the rain, for the sky, for all of that. You could even just look at her Wikipedia and blow that out the water. So if she's coming from the 3 white folks who supposedly have written the definitive books on the Khoisan, that may be where she got that misinformation from. But the San are totally traditional African
Wait a minute, man.
People.
Do you know what traditional African is?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Can we get an order?
Hold on.
Because we want to talk about
minuet. Damn, y'all. Would I do this every time we get a break? All right, we got your response. Let me get Howard. You was next. Now, wait, before Howard goes, who is going to be after Howard?
Pianki's
after Howard.
Let me in.
Facts.
I'm going. Facts is after. Wait a minute. Hold on. Facts, and who else?
Nah, it's me, Tyrone.
Me, Tyrone. All right, I got Bianca. Mama's boy. You said Mama's boy?
Hello?
Brother E.
Yeah, no, that was me. Yes, I hear you. Who's that?
Checkmate.
Yeah, well, let me.
Okay, I hear you. You're in the lineup there. We got Howard. We got Bianchi. We got Allfax. We got and I think that was it, right?
Atma at the end, Tyrone. That's Atma at the end.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to get the Ankh first, and then we have to go from there. So go ahead, Howard.
Hear me, Tyrone?
All right, thanks, Tyrone.
Tyrone, you got control of switchboard? Hello.
Yes, I do, Gary, because this show is
going off the rails.
Let me hold on to this because I'm only gonna do 30 minutes. But let me hold on to the switchboard. Go ahead in the order that speaks right now. Go ahead.
All right. Thanks a lot, Gary. I have a question that's going to go out to Unc and also the guests, because there's a lot of people listening and new people kind of like myself. And if you could give a simple and definitive answer, it would really help me out. Are you saying, Brother Unc, that the original going back to Kemet, are you saying that it was all superstition? And what I mean by that, are you saying that the gods were the explanation of the gods and the things they did were a way to define the unknown or to define nature? And simple, and I really want kind of like a yes or no. Don't beat around on me.
You want a yes or no? Yes, it was all superstition. Goddamn right. Because if you can't do it, which makes you think they could do it? There you go. That's your answer. God damn it. Why they can do something that you can't do? Come on, man, with that. Let's be real. We're grown men. You're grown men now. Why is it they could do something that we can't do, brother?
All right, well, pause right there. Howard, you got your answer from after Howard was. Wait a minute, hold on. You asked,
and I would say no, it's not superstition. We can the
I'm not going
that ancient Kemet did, we can do today.
I promise you, I'm not going to talk over y'all. I promise you. So Howard, you got your question out there. I answered it. So Bianchi,
can I finish
you're
a little bit, Ty? Can I finish a little bit, Ty?
I got a comment.
Go ahead then, Howard.
Yeah, just like another minute, Bianchi. I swear. You know I don't be long. So Unc is saying, and I'm on that
ain't
side
the guest,
with him.
man. Unc is not a guest. Unc is just a caller.
So, right. So I'm gonna lob it over to the guest. So there's a lot of people on this phone that are under the belief that everything is a superstition from the beginning of this
mankind.
I don't want to call it religion, but right. So what is the guest opinion on that? So that's why I'm lobbing it over to the guest now.
Oh, good one, Howard. Good one, Howard.
All right, so Tehuti, you can answer, and then after Tehuti is Bianchi. Go ahead, man.
If he was lobbing it to me, the guest, the white man's jumping up and down. We have been moving in this direction, I want to say, since the 50s, when Yalden and Zulu brought the Akan system over, when the brother brought the Ifa system over, and Vodou over 50s and 60s. And so we were starting to move in the direction of we rightly were throwing away Christianity, rightly throwing away Islam. And even back in the 60s, a few folks played with atheism and Marxism and all that crazy, silly stuff. And if you listen to Jacob Carruthers, even on the piece that I put up on him, either up on YouTube or after his reascension, he talks about we played around with atheists for a while, but we looked and we saw that the majority of the black movements that had people in it had some type of religious base. But he knew that we couldn't deal with Christianity or Islam. So Dr. Carruthers, who's a contemporary of Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark, folks who might not know him, he decided to look at African spirituality. We talk about Edward Wilmot Blyden. We know his name a little bit. One good example that Dr. Carruthers brought up was Blyden. Blyden tried Christianity for a minute. He left that alone. He tried Islam for a minute. He left that alone. He's one of the only scholars who eventually went full circle and came back home to real African spirituality. So,
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question, brother? Please. Can I ask you a question, brother?
Oh, man, it's not your turn.
Look. We're gonna have to.
I gotta go too.
We got to be mindful that there's other people on the line. You got a couple, and he got a response. So Bianchi, you're next.
Yeah, and I just want to. I'm staying away from Kemet. I'm staying with the topic of the show. And you was talking about ancestors. You add some things in there. Now, somebody said something about the oldest genes on the planet. According to science, the oldest genes on the planet is those islands, which is east of Bangalore in India and Mandros in India at the southern tip, called the Andaman Islands, where a group of people, black people, jet black people, called the Jarawa. And as far as I understand, they don't have no religion. Another thing, somebody mentioned something about some groups having gods of pain and hell. Well, you had to experience pain before you can come up with a god to try to answer your pain. People cannot draw a hippopotamus until they see a hippopotamus. Human life was atheist before they created a god. You had to know nothing before you knew something. Another point. The Haitians. Henry Christophe, if he was following voodoo, and he was born, I believe he was born in Grenada, and he went to St. Dominique, but Henry Christophe fought with George Washington at Savannah, or he fought with the French. So what was George Washington's? I mean, how are you going to take George Washington's belief and Christophe's belief and the two combined together in order to win a war? Another point. Blacks in America is one thing, and Africans on the continent.
Let's have you clarify that other point.
Well, I don't want to get in no debate. You have time to butt me. I got one more point.
I don't understand what you're saying. I'm asking for clarification. You said Christophe fought with George Washington and France. I was trying to understand. Not a debate.
George Christophe and Haitians fought with George Washington at Savannah in order to defeat the French. And then he turned around and done something with the French also. So if his gods was voodoo, well, George Washington's gods was not voodoo. Now, another point. Another point.
Get that point, but go ahead.
Another point. We talk about African spirituality. Those Africans on the continent have a whole different history than the people here in the United States have. Regardless if you like it or you don't, not everybody, but there's a lot of intermingling that have went on, and you don't have one set of ancestors. Your ancestors are going to take you to Sweden. Your ancestors are going to take you to Europe. Your ancestors may take you to the Caribbean. You can't, and you mentioned earlier about this thing where this one white guy who had black ancestors and he built a shrine for both of them. Well, maybe it's the ancestors fighting each other because one feels that they're not being recognized and you're trying to deny the other. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right, we're going to let Tehuti respond. And then after Tehuti, wait a minute. Listen up. Listen, y'all got to take damn directions from the damn tower. Ready on the right? Ready on the left? All right, y'all hold on.
Yeah, that's
Listen
all
up.
facts.
We're going to let Tehuti respond, and then after Tehuti is Ankh, and then before Ankh goes,
No, Tyrone is me. I'm before Ankh.
Wait a minute, who was after Ankh?
No, I'm before Ankh. I'm after Bianca.
Or was you next, all facts? Did I get that screwed up?
And then Ankh.
You mixed me up with Ankh, Tyrone.
Who's after Ankh? Ankh was after Ankh, and who else?
Yeah, you ain't sent nobody after me. You didn't get that far. You just went to me. I don't think you
okay.
had nobody.
So we got Ankh and then Atma and then Mama's boy, right?
Yeah, and let me get in after.
Do it like that. Go ahead, all facts.
Oh, I thought Tehuti was going to respond. Is Tehuti going to respond? Is Tehuti going to respond?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tehuti.
Bianchi. And then I'm after him.
Yeah, Bianchi's an interesting character. He likes to think he can make a few statements and drop the mic, and that's it. But some of the stuff I'll address, some of it I won't because it didn't make sense. With the Christoph, I mean, we know about Mackendal, we know about Boukman, and those are the specific ones who we know who called upon. One of them was actually Yoruba, the other one was a Khan, and we know about the ritual and the black pig and all that sort of stuff. What I thought, let me try to inject some sense into that statement. Where I thought he was going to go is he was going to say, oh, well, he fought with Washington and he fought with the French, so he brought over those military tactics to help the Haitians. That's where I thought that he was going, but that's probably too much sense there. The Haitians, at that point, were grossly outnumbered and grossly outgunned. So you can't just say, oh, they had weapons. And plus, French had the more advanced weapons for that time. Haiti just had a few muskets here or there. So the idea that science and technology solely was what helped get Haiti over the hump is actually foolish according to history. I would say what has to be both. Some other spiritual stuff happened, as well as knowing the terrain, as well as doing some other stuff. But I would put more of an emphasis on the spiritual, knowing that they had that ritual, and knowing what happened after the fact. The stuff he said about the ancestors, he used a telling word. He said maybe. That lets me know that he has no tangible experiential knowledge within this. So you could say maybe to anything. And white ancestors have no place on an African ancestral altar. And so the African ancestors probably knocked that shit down. That's what happened. And I didn't say it was a white guy. He was a mixed.
Hey, Tehuti, I'm going to have to pause you. Wait a minute, hold on, guys. Hold on. Listen. Whenever y'all hear me speak, please be quiet. Now, listen, there's somebody that's got something going on. Either your phone is in your jacket or you're washing dishes. I don't know what that noise is. But if your mic is open, just mute it so it won't interrupt the show. It's very disruptive. But go ahead and finish, Tehuti, and then we'll get all facts after you.
Right. So I can understand that when you rightly leave Christianity, you rightly leave Islam. In the 60s, a few folks went off to the East, the Eastern stuff, Buddhism, Taoism. A few of them played with atheism. So for this atheism trope to come back now. Folks ain't doing nothing new. They tried it and it failed 50 years ago. So sure, folks can try it and it will fail again.
I'm gonna beat you up when I talk, though. I'm gonna beat you up, though, right?
See and smell something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, let him talk.
The totality of African life is about the fusion of real spirit and science and technology. And if we just try to do one or the other without the fusion of the two, what we do will fail.
All right. Hold on right there, brother, because we got to keep it pushing. We only got about 10 minutes left in this section of the show, but like I said, I got one program, so we're going to start it right up afterwards. But go ahead, who's after you, Tehuti? All facts, you go ahead. And you look, I don't mean no harm, man, but that whole comment that you just made about atheism is not grounded in any logic whatsoever.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, listen, Tehuti, I disagree with you on a lot of things, but tonight I do agree with you on things, and you taught me some things. When people make the statement that black Africans or Africans were stripped with everything with their religion, that's a lie. I agree with you. And you also taught me tonight that in some of these prayers, you pray against your enemy, and Christianity says love your enemy. Loving your enemy is a contradiction. It doesn't even make sense, right? So I do learn. But I have to say this. First of all, the natural mind has to be agnostic. The natural mind cannot start as atheism, because if you go into the realm of atheism, you have to describe whether it's a God or not. The natural mind does not know factually. So the natural mind has to talk about, I don't know what the fuck going on. Then they search, then man starts thinking, then he comes up with his fucking thoughts and talk about atheism and then religion. Then they pin against each other and they fight against each other. I just got cut off the fuck up. Well, let me. If I'm an idiot, challenge what I say.
Wait. We're giving everybody their time.
Hold on.
Move on. Go ahead.
Let me make some other points. Hold up. I'm not even finished, brother. Let me make some other points.
Hurry up.
Wow. Everyone has to hurry up. You know what, Tyrone? Hold on.
Let the man finish talking now. Come on, so we can move on.
Hold on. Tyrone, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fall back because, look, it's a bias. Everyone had their chance. Hold on. Everyone had their chance, so I'm going to wait to the next show, and then I'll wait for them. So let them have their show. Go ahead. I'll wait to the next show and finish what I was saying.
He was talking about anyway, though. Come on, man. You already went. All right. My question
already went. No, brother. You just cut me off and bogarted me, but I'm proving my point because the facts are coming too strong. The facts are coming.
If African spirituality or non-spirituality was first,
right? All right.
Who was it talking?
Listen. It's whoever was after all facts. Who was after all facts?
Go
ahead, Look, guys, I'm on mute. So this is bullshit. I ain't gonna keep yelling over you. My voice is fucking too goddamn precious to me fuck up yelling over y'all, and I look too good. I'm just a handsome motherfucker, so that's why I can do this. So go ahead, All
right. Now, one question. So this show gonna go overtime. If I start mute after 12, will these guys drop off?
No, listen. Pay attention. The show is not going into overtime. We're gonna start the show at 12 o'clock. And there's another show program, so I'm going to restart a new show at 12 o'clock. It's not going into overtime. Okay?
All right.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
First of all, everybody in this phone got to know their own capabilities. And we know no matter what we say, at the end of the day, we got to pay goddamn rent. And we got to do whatever it is it takes to pay our bills. No one on this phone is going to sit back and bank on making a prayer to an altar, to an ancestor. If they got any sense, right, they're going to do what they have to do to make sure they have the money, right, which would be resources, okay, to supply the family with food, clothing, shelter, and you might buy a gun for protection. So at the end of the day, we understand, if we understand that the Africans had science and technology, and if their spiritual system was that, then we can safely say that the African spiritual systems are allowed to change over time. What this brother's doing is he got niggas stuck in the Stone Age. We're now in the space age. So if the African spiritual systems were really legit, right, then and they were scientific, then they absolutely have to change. Because in 2016, and anybody standing in front of an altar going, humana, 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 I'll show you a broke-ass motherfucker. I'll show you a shot-down-ass motherfucker. I'll show you Africans that are still in the Stone Age. How come Africa, with all this spirituality, right, don't have roads like they supposed to? How come Africa, with all their supposedly spirituality that the white man told us we had, let's get that straight, right? How come we're not in the space age? You can look this up. We don't even have satellites in space, but yet we have the greatest African spiritual system. And I'm telling you, that is a crock of shit to have you stuck somewhere. That's not Africa. Look at the days when Africa was leading the world. What did they lead the world in when they led the world? They led the world in science and technology. What did they use to conquer the world? They used a projectile called the spear. What is the projectile? The projectile spear tips will later on become the bullet. The bullet will later on become the intercontinental fucking missiles. All based off of after spirituality of food, clothing, and shelter. We're in the space age, ladies and gentlemen. The hell with that Stone Age motherfucking spirituality. You cannot defend yourself with that shit he's talking about. Trust me when I tell you. He don't even know what he's talking about. He's hoping and he's wishing and he sounds real good. But guess what? We're not buying it, right?
I agree with you, but you're doing the same thing he's doing in a different way.
Hold on. Let me finish, man. You leave the pseudo scholarship stuff that you do, you would do a good comedian role.
You cutting my wisdom right now. I am telling you, 2016, right? And we're standing up, we're saying that after spirituality is science and technology with the morality code that we choose. That's what we're saying. And I'm saying you can't do nothing about it. Because I will science and technology your motherfucking ass. I will come in and take your altar and step on that shit and laugh at you. You My new
Don't you know your morality code is your religion, though?
Hold on, brother.
The man is talking all facts.
Hold on, man. My new altar on my new altar, I will have a picture of a woman with a wig. And it will represent us taking the hair care industry.
Humanism is a religion and a belief, Jackie. Humanism is a religion and a belief.
Brother, man. All facts. From now you rude all facts. I'll let you talk. I'm simply telling you that it's crazy, man. Listen, man. The spiritual system has always been food, clothing, and shelter. Read the book by John Jackson, man, God and Civilization. Read the book, Origin and Evolution of Premortal Man. They all tell you that we always deal with resources first. And then thousands of years later, after you secure all that shit, then you just got some time to sit back and philosophize and make up the different spirits and make up the different altars. But you ain't got time for that shit right now because you don't have your food, clothing, and shelter. That shit comes way later on down the line. Come on, bro. Man, cut that shit out.
The pyramid is your altar on Punk.
Hold on.
Is your altar.
Who was after Unk? There was somebody after Unk. We had a marching order here.
We were going back around.
Okay, no, we won't going back around. Look, stop fucking around. Look, I think it was Atma, and I think it was like...
It was Atma, and then you thought it was me. And you know what?
No, you already...
Here we go.
No, I did not get my turn.
It's a mess.
No,
Atma
didn't go.
Atma did Mama's boy.
You confused me with Ankh 2 times already. Look, I'm trying to figure out, right? This Amma. I'm talking. Hold on, let me go. I just got a question, basically. Like, okay, we saying that the African spirituality was before or non-spirituality, whatever it was. If it was before what we understand as God, when did they become atheists? And that's what I don't understand. Like, how would
Right.
atheists?
Atheist is not the original thought.
Hold on, listen.
You can.
Okay, wait. Let me just say this right here. And I think Bianchi said it best when he
brother.
came on the phone initially. His conversation was when humans came into whatever consciousness they became of, they didn't have these deities in their mind. This shit
And
is
they
all
were not atheists, and they were not atheists, Tyrone. They could not be atheists.
Hold on with me. I'm not gonna yell over y'all. I don't do that shit. Now you got me screaming. I don't want to scream over y'all. But before humans came up with these fake ass ideas, they didn't believe in shit. You know, I mean, goddamn, there's your atheism from day one.
No, that's a lie, yo. I can prove that. That's a lie, yo. That's
the point I'm asking. The question I'm asking is, I didn't get to finish asking my question. I didn't get to finish. Hold on. The reason why I'm asking is, what would be the reason to call yourself something that you don't recognize anyway? So I mean, to call yourself an atheist is almost recognizing.
Thank you, brother. He's smart.
Hold on.
That's my brother right there.
You're looking at titles. You're looking at
right there. He's smart as shit. He's smart as a motherfucker.
You don't know what he's talking about. That's not the truth.
I do know what he's talking about because he got it. He
numbers are doing all facts. All facts.
No, I'm not. No, what that brother just said is clear.
No, he didn't. You don't even know what the meaning. You don't even know the word meaning. It's called the A province, and y'all don't even know what that is. Somebody explain to me what the A province is right now.
All right. Well, Atmo is looking at titles, atheism, the actual term atheism. No, they didn't call themselves that word way back then.
Never
they didn't. But it's a fucking idea. I read y'all the definition. Oh, it's the disbelief or belief in that there's a God. I don't think that there's a fucking God. I really don't. And I think that the way I look at the Bible, I disprove that shit. Anybody can argue that if they want to, but that's just me. But it ain't that this whole group of people subscribe to this idea of atheism and all this kind. They go to church and have meetings and all that kind of shit. That shit don't happen. It's just that you don't believe that there's a God. There's a damn God. I know there's not no damn God, but Tehuti tonight put on the floor that he shake hands with him and shit. So, I mean, there's different views out there, I guess.
You got to go with work, though, Tyrone. We got to be honest right here. What really works? How do you defeat an enemy that uses science and technology? It's only one thing that can defeat science and technology.
You use both. See, we would have to talk about why you're so anti-spirit, just because you can't touch it, taste it, hear it, see it, or smell it, because of your interaction with Christianity and Islam. I mean,
you don't know what spirit is.
Obviously, it has some relations with the continent because it's been there for so damn long.
Hey, Tehuti, can you
get a little bit of Western education and then just want to poo-poo it because they really don't know about it? It doesn't make sense. What I'm saying is a more balanced science and technology and our African spirituality. But to throw it either one of them away is actually stupid in 2016 Gregorian calendar.
All right, you guys call back in. We'll keep the conversation going. I'll see you on the other side.
Damn.
Yeah, cool.
Another classic edition here on Chaos Reign podcast/channel. And like always, comment, subscribe, and like this video. You also can follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. Oh, and also get the book, How to Make a Negro a Christian by Kamau Tehuit. The links will be in the description at the end. Thank you for listening. Until next time, let chaos reign.